落としてしまうぞ。この果物とかね。これを一つ。ヒロ、どうした？震えている。
セテ。
お。
ここに。私の家に忍び込むなんて自殺願望でもあるの？
久しぶり、由美子。八幡さんが。
ええ。話は聞いたわ。
見覚えは？手伝ってもらう。仇は必ず撃つ。
Experience precision.
Tango in my sights.
Now it's time for new belt Nitro Signal, and he fell for it. He's looking to give coverage for his teammate, right? Can he lock it down? Yes, he can. Swings in, triple for Am. Shank. No time. Pun has to swing in. Jordy's pulled up. He's on it. Around.
Camera in position.
Get behind me!
Tango located.
Hostiles in sight!
Coming hot into week 5, Kasulu, it's an interesting prospect. We find ourselves the only ANZ Rainbow Six competition currently running. Everything else is done, so you better be tuning in to watch here. Coming into week 5, though, this is not how we expected the season to be going.
Oh yeah, not at all. We've had a phenomenal shake-up of the leaderboard in general, with seeing some of the teams that we initially were ready to write off at the beginning of the stage now coming in really hot into all their performances and actually nailing some really solid scores.
And if you're forgetting how this whole thing works, pretty simple. 8 teams, 7 weeks, best of 1 round robin. Top 4 at the end of the group stage find themselves into playoffs, of course, vying for a decent chunk of the change. Moving into the best of 3 format, vying for their slice of $3,000. First gets $1,200. Second walks away with 9. Third and fourth, $450.
Yeah, plenty of incentive, plenty of ways to acquire the bag for the players, but there's also a good opportunity for our viewers to get the bag as well. And well, that is being that every week we will have one lucky viewer that can go into the draw. All you have to do to earn yourself 2,400 R6 credits is to tweet at LPL R6 and tell us what you think is the best map in the current competitive pool, or I believe actually, as a matter of fact, a slightly different.
That was last week.
That was last week.
And no one won it because...
No one won it, yeah.
Because you guys did... Actually, I was the only one to tweet in.
Exactly.
So we
Favorite
actually...
operator instead.
We have, favourite operator, but apparently I've been told we might have 2 weeks' worth of prizes to give away. So make sure you get your tweets in. We might even feature you on the broadcast. But last week, when no one tweeted in at us, we had a pretty interesting play. Now, there were some big matches. We only saw 3 played, but there were some pretty impressive matches. Team 7, they came with intent, they came with purpose, and they took down Odium.
Yeah, look, it was a rather interesting performance by Team 7, but it was a really valiant performance by them. I believe it concluded in a 4-7. Now, 1620 Kings versus Altidelios, a match that went the full send. It did conclude in an 8-7 scoreline, with Machine dropping a whole new kill record as well, 21 kills, I believe it was. And honestly, it was one of the more kind of meme-packed matches, but also a very kind of delving down into all the nitty-gritty for both of the rosters.
Yeah, I mean, there were some massive shots hit across the board, some heartbreak as well. Jeff just missing out on the defuse by about 6 seconds. He also brought out the glares and was ripping heads quite cleanly by the end of the round. I mean, what a clutch it was up on the 3rd floor. Banana not quite good enough at distance. And yeah, you see Machine 21-10 by the end of the match. Our final match of the day, though, was Underground Gaming taking on the Warriors. Underground Esports Club. Unfortunately, they had a bit of a powerhouse weapon in the pocket. Eraser did not slow down. I mean, by the end of round 3, he was 9-0.
Yeah, look, the man was an absolute machine when it came down to any sort of frags. To himself and JPK, they were an absolutely deadly duo that managed to secure themselves a really solid 7-4 victory over Warriors. Now, this did shape our leaderboard really, really well in terms of Underground kind of reclaiming their first place rather well. Antic and Altidelios following up, which is something that we didn't initially expect given their previous standings on some of the other leagues. And then, well, Team 7 with Odium sitting on the same amount of points, the only difference being is the round differential. And I reckon, look, with Team 7's dynamic, it is looking to be a little bit more in their favor, because they've been actually kind of performing quite well, albeit they have been going through some of the roster changes in the middle of the season.
Yeah, I mean, they could still make a deep run. There's still today and the next 2 play days to go before we get there. Let's have a look at our matches for today, though. Of course, up first, Odium versus the 1620 Kings. Match 2, Vodafone Warriors taking on Team 7. That one's going to be an interesting one. Antic versus Underground Esports Club will decide who finishes the play day top of the table. And unfortunately, Onami have had to forfeit, which means Altidelios picks up the win 7-0, which is going to help their round count differential. But, I mean, look, there are some big matches coming into tonight. Absolutely, yeah. I'm looking forward to pretty much all of them, because Odium versus 1620 Kings, this is the time for Odium to come back and from their unfortunate loss. The matchup of Warriors versus Team 7, I actually think it could be an absolute banger, because on the side of Warriors, this is their chance to really make it finally work for themselves after an upset against UG. And for Team 7, it's also their chance to keep up their win streak. And let's get on to the first matchup, of course. Odium versus 1620 Kings up first. It is Team Odium with a surprise. We have someone new replacing Shaq here in LPL Pro. Sawyer, Twent, Logic, Edpan, and for the first time this year, Supremacist is making his debut in the LPL Pro alongside Odium. Yeah, look, I'm quite curious, given the unfortunate circumstances that Supremacist found himself by the conclusion of stage 1 of just ANZ Comp Siege. But in regards to his addition to Odium, I mean, replacing Shaq, theoretically, I rate the idea and the introduction of Supreme. He's one of the players that has proven that he is pretty mechanically able to perform in the fragger duties. And in general, a man has seen quite a number of different rosters, so flexibility should be
his name in the game.
I mean, he's had experience across the board. Let's get into the opponents, though. It's 16-20 Kings. Coming in this week, they find themselves down bottom of the table, but Tester, Chef Jeff, KJ, Lonely, and Jacko will be looking to change that tonight. And Tester is going to be the current kill record holder from Challenge League sitting at the moment. Machine, unfortunately, cannot make the play day today. Do you reckon that hampers the mini?
It might hinder a little bit given the sheer performance of the man before. But Tester, Chef Jeff have been kind of the two big representatives for the team. Now the main question personally for me will be how will the rest of the team be able to perform and keep up with him, namely Jacko, the person who has been kind of well, you could call him the super sub for 16-20 Kings, but in saying that, with him being absent from quite a vast majority of the games for the roster within this year, I would still be having a few concerns.
He's a bit of a Jacko of all trades, some would say. He sort of fits whatever role the team needs him to. Let's get on to the head-to-head, though. The two players we are most excited to see, of course, Jesse Sawyer Lando and Joshua Chef Jeff Kalashnikov, the two IGLs for these teams. Two of the best IGLs currently in the region outside of Apex South.
Yeah, two big IGLs, but with two completely different stories. On the side of Sawyer, the man who managed to lead quite a number of rosters into pretty much very convincing victories, went through a number of different orgs, now landed with Odium, with the team that managed to take on Oceania by storm. And then on the other hand, Chef Jeff, a IGL whose story kind of more so is about the perseverance through the sheer amount of issues and sheer amount of hardships that his team and himself went through, but managed to shape up his own team rather well.
Two top three contenders in their respective leagues as well, so they could definitely create a clash that would be one for the storybooks. But let's get into the map vetoes, see where we're playing things out, and the lack of creativity is a little concerning. We are going to Oregon. Yeah. It is, again, a staple of the competitive map pool. Both these teams have had successes on it, both have had failures. But this was a map that Odium made their name on in Oceania. They were absolutely monsters coming into their first stage of it. Now this year they finished second. Not quite as clean a run on Oregon, but, I mean, it's still one that plays incredibly well for them.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, look, we're already seeing Odium actually with an LPL Pro already play out the game against Ultrazelius, albeit pairing Ultrazelius and 16-20 Kings may be two completely different cases. And
Ultrazelius have already won tonight.
True. Well, we'll keep that thought completely on a separate scale. But with 16-20 Kings, with the fact that they are looking to play this out with technically a sub, it is not looking particularly too well because Odium were able to absolutely butcher Ultrazelius with a 7-3 scoreline in playday number 3. So, with all things considered, I would say that Odium may just be in the favor here.
Yeah, look, I mean, realistically, you've got to favour Odium, not only given...
That's what we said last week.
But then there was also a competition that happened over the weekend that they may not have been, holding things for. But coming in tonight, they've got nothing else to play for. True. It is, off season for their main competition. This is where they can look to do a bit of damage. They've also brought in another Nationals player. Former Nationals player, former Nationals player.
Technically, he is still a Nationals player.
Yeah, well, not at the moment. But he is going to be joining Team Odium. Supremacist, he puts up numbers week in, week out. He may not have had the cleanest of runs in the Nationals, but he's definitely looking to come in. And if you want to come in as well, get involved in the competition, make sure, remember, at LPL_R6S, using the hashtag LPLR6S. Tell us which you think is the best operator and why. Again, we like to have a bit of fun here. Fun answers, serious answers. Back it up, though. Tell us why they are the best operator, not just, Pluto and his answer. We'll discount that one for now. But, yeah, look, tweet us. You could win yourself some R6 credits. Last week, I was the only one that tweeted in. They didn't give it to me, but hey, look, that's a different story entirely. We are going to have to go to a break, though, unfortunately. Oregon is not quite ready yet, and I'm not sure if we're ready for Oregon either. But when we come back, we'll hopefully jump on into the map. Welcome back now. We've had confirmation as to what was going on. Unfortunately, there were some minor launcher issues. So, Jacko's out, Physics is in.
Yeah, I'm actually quite keen for that switch because Physics, being a player that has been popping up on a number of occasions, I reckon we could be seeing now a little bit more aggressive play from 1620 Kings. Now that, in addition to Chef Jeff, Tester, now Physics as well, I reckon that trio of fragging capabilities could be big. KJ and Lonely as well, playing on support/flex, could actually be a really good stable combo here for K16.
I mean, you say support. Tester's a frag mate. He is the hard breacher for the team. They've got 3 supports, one of whom is in insane numbers, man.
Yeah, look, I mean, Tester, despite his kind of role, he is still a man that could just absolutely obliterate his opposition. The man has just, he was the previous record holder.
I mean, technically, he's still the Challenger League record holder.
Yeah, true. So there's a couple of, ways around it. There's a couple of possibilities. I still think Odium would be in the favorite seat purely for the fact that they have that addition of Supremacist, who's technically has a higher level experience than, say, somebody like Physics, like Tester, but in the form of 1620 Kings, it's now a question of how well can their chemistry play against the other team's chemistry, because obviously for Odium, Supreme is only just a recent addition, so questions about chemistry, about the trust may still linger around.
Well, let's get on into the map. Finally, we're heading to Oregon. Let's kick this map off here in play day number 5. Construction might be going on outside, so make sure you pack your earmuffs. It is going to get hectic. It's going to get chaotic. And I'm sure Odium are going to come in swinging. 1620 Kings have a hell of a job on their hands.
Absolutely. Quite keen to see how will Oregon really perform. Should be quite a banger of one. And honestly, just in general, a map that has served to be a kind of a baseline for a number of teams within OC, within APAC in general. And a map that has been within the competitive scene for a while. Yeah, look, Chef Jeff, I think you just may have missed the timing on that one, boss.
Dear. Flores the first out, courtesy of the 1620 Kings. No real surprises there. He's pretty strong on this map, I would imagine. I'm going to follow it up with a Flores, a Thatcher, a Fletcher or a Torres, one of the two, coming in right now. Maybe a Maverick, maybe a Habana if they're looking to get a bit risky, but nah, Thatcher, Flores, stock standard.
Yeah, not too spicy. So Flores and Thatcher, once again, kind of the staple combo now of being banned in LPL Pro, unless the two teams have managed to do a very thorough, homework on their opponents. But as it stands here, look, I think we are going to be seeing a mirror ban here as well to come to fruition. With Cade, though, look, it's a bit of a kind of actually a coin flip. Lonely, yeah, all right.
Well, it's going to be a mirror.
It is going to be a mirror. Okay,
so not
Cade
lonely.
Yeah, nothing too unusual. With Cade, though, on board, I reckon we could be seeing something.
Oh, look at the colour coordination, Supremacist and Sawyer. They're both, it's almost the same. You had red shirt, black shirt, white shirt, black shirt, red shirt.
Yeah.
The coordination across the board. Jeff's even dressed up for us. It looks like he's taking us out to dinner.
I mean, I wouldn't pass up an invitation from Chef Jeff, honestly. If he's dressed up like this, man's got
logic,
class.
buddy. You can't do Supreme like that. He's coming to help the team, and you're already dogging your boy.
That's one way to chalk. Physics doubles down. Look, Chef Jeff at least, understands the situation. Yeah, look.
Well, actually, was Sawyer, he wasn't technically Ocean twice. He was 6 Masters and then Ocean. Because Noble wasn't a part of Ocean, were they?
They were.
Were they at the very start of 2020?
No, yeah. When he was introduced, he was still part of it, only for a brief moment.
Yeah.
Though, but regardless, yeah.
Because then they became Melon Cats, and well, we all know how that went.
Pepe's Melon Cat, still one of my more favorite rosters back then. Alas, it is what it is.
A little bit of a history lesson there.
A bit of a history lesson, oh man. Yeah, we're all about the blast from the past here with Blue Thulu. But honestly, yeah. Look, Odium. They, in their match against AZ...
Look, but Tester, look at him. He's making sure he's got clearance and everything. This is peak efficiency from the 1620 Kings.
Oh, yeah. No, they want to get like as thorough as possible. Chef Jeff is having his meditation sessions.
Tester's gone through that hole 4 times now.
Yeah. Look, he likes his hole. Well, he likes his rotation, and it's nothing wrong. You know, you gotta sometimes enlarge it to fit yourself in there, and you know, keep it going. But apart from that, on the side of Odium, they might end up getting to breach the very same hole as well.
Well, right now, KJ swings past, spots Logic, but does not spot Twen, who finds 2 for his troubles. Big kills Jeff and KJ down, 1 of the SAS operators plus the Wemo.
I didn't know Twent was a farmer, given just how easily he farmed out those 2 kills, but that was a clean take of the master bedroom.
I mean, KJ baited out by Logic, standing out on the balcony, does not realise Twent is already jumping on the bed. And, I mean, that's 2 very big operators gone. That's your M590, and, well, there goes Lonely as well. So you've lost 3 of 5 before we even hit the halfway mark.
Absolutely. Well, already Tester.
Left Tester.
Left Tester. Yep, finds him. That's a clean opener. That's no more of the presence about the attic as well, so it will make things a little bit easier. But as it stands, Tester might need to go through the rotation. The holes are already being opened up. The rotation is there. In comes the swing. No, the swing is not good. Tester is the last man standing. Logic whiffs half of his magazine, but finally does come to make it work.
So when does Supremacist start playing? Like. No, unfortunately, he was left a bit in the dust, couldn't quite get his frags because the rest of the team was already up there doing the job. Right now, Odium, big lead to start off with. They show that they can attack dorms quite comfortably, but it seems K16, they're comfortable enough to go back there again.
I mean, they fully understand that they flogged on the initial 2 losses rather quickly, thinking that they would be able to re-swing, but unfortunately, that all didn't come to really any sort of fruition. So I'm assuming that they're just looking to play it a little bit more paced down. Introducing Warden is going to be a rather interesting choice, all things considered, albeit it could actually play in really well into the Sawyer's pick. Apart from that, with the introduction of Elysian as well from Tester, I'm assuming it's just an attempt to play for just a little bit more of a kind of a paced down play and, well, hope for the best, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, 1620 Kings doing their homework a little bit. It is a bit of a staple for the Odium lineup. They do like to lean into their ying. But so far, Odium, I don't know if they haven't seen the Warden or if they've decided it isn't really that much of an issue for them.
This is fine.
Yeah, they're going to continue running it anyway. They get themselves set up, last-minute prep underway, and, well, the attack will begin, hopefully not as disastrously as that last round.
Well, so far, could possibly see some rather cheeky plays. As Physics is looking to get a little bit cheeky with his MPX swings. Could be big. Logic instead already taking quite some damage. Matter of fact, Tester takes him out of the equation. Well, look at the position. Actually, I only just now realized Lonely. He is playing in the small tower where, I mean, assumption is that the majority of the push is going to come through there, or maybe it's just a run-out position. But in regards to Physics, he just keeps on chilling around, and for Lonely, well, if he doesn't get droned out, well, he at least has a safe position to go for a flank around from.
More chip damage out to Twent. KJ waiting on the door will do even more chip. Just unfortunately, things not going Twent's way at the moment. The goo mine is there as well. Right now, though, Odium are going to just try and go for the approach here. They will pop that wall into Attic, having cleared things out. But there's no one currently in pit from K16, which could mean that this push falls, well, the defense rather falls apart. Oh no! The body block of oh my lord, everything just went wrong. The body block of the Gone 6 into KJ getting caught, but he keeps the shield alive.
Well, I mean, that's one way to really do it. Regardless of that, keen to see how will Odium really try to recover from here, because Physics again swings out from the window and actually able to get the better of yet another one. Chef Jeff again doubles down onto Twen. All of a sudden, it's all down to Supreme and Sawyer, the 2 LMG wielders.
Could make this happen. Candelas are there. First one tossed out. No smoke grenades to cover. Not that it would have been a great help given Physics is on the board. Lonely tag. Sawyer's good for 1, but unfortunately, Supremacist is not. Down to the IGL right now, and Physics tucked into the corner is going to find the lineup easy as pie, and we find ourselves tied up in the score as well.
Look, A rather unfortunate result there for Odium, albeit not the kind of result that Odium would have wanted to see. Maybe going into round 3, this is where we could be seeing them come to, return to their form. Laundry and Supply Room should be still a side that should be easily rushed into. And as it stands, I mean, on the side of K16, they're fully acknowledging this sort of play, this sort of setup, introducing the cap can, introducing the smoke. So doubling down onto that defense for the bunker could actually work out pretty well. Apart from that, look, we've already seen a pretty decent roam from Testa to be able to basically go around the world with his setup. So curious to see how will Odium be able to return to that form.
Yeah, getting themselves set up. Drones are already in, looking for info. They've brought the Maverick into play, fully acknowledging that there will be a Cade set up for this basement defense, which, I mean, it's free. It's why would you not? But, I mean, that was a very decisive answer back in the second round from 1620 Kings.
Yeah, 1620 Kings actually managed to hold themselves pretty well, all courtesy, though, of that initial momentum to be given to Physics, the man, the myth, the legend on the 1.5 times scope with the MPX. Actually made it work pretty well on the ground floor, and then the audacious swing from the playing room window that allowed them to kind of double down on that whole pressure. So good play so far, and well, he's back at his own shenanigans this time with a Mozzie.
Yeah, speaking of shenanigans, Twent is up to some of his own. The blitz in play. It's a full rush towards elbow. Jeff retreating desperately. Unfortunately, Twent is heavily tagged. Impact nade out. It's not going to be good, but Logic will find the first under KJ. Another impact. Still not good. Twent tucked into the corner. Somehow he's still alive. Supremacy is going to find his first kill. But it's Edpan out in the main lobby. Twent on the ground. Will be finished off by Lonely in his M870. Jeff getting aggressive. Will find Supremacy. It's an absolute mess to start the round off. We still are not even hitting that first minute. Jeff for 3, Physics for 1, and it's Logic alone. He's going to run. There's no other option. Somehow, this has all gone wrong, and we're already just hitting the end of that first minute.
Yeah, Logic kind of started off the matchup, if you remember, with a certain phrase in the old chat. And at the moment, it kind of, 1620 Kings did a bit of a Uno reverse card with saying, well, no mates.
Yeah, Lonely got a kill with that M870, so I'd argue that he's doing pretty well for himself. Actually, no, sorry, it wasn't a kill, it was a confirm. As you can see, Logic in a bit of trouble. He's getting charged. He will find Lonely in Jet. It's down to Physics in the 1 versus 1, but Physics has the health advantage. All he needs is a bullet, but if he loses his head, oh my God, Logic, he's playing a dangerous game. He's going to head towards elbow with that diffuser. What info does Physics have? He should know now. The pre-fires are going to have to be clean, but all it takes is a headshot right now, and Odium pick up the round. He's 6-1 as well, so Logic is definitely sharp at the moment, my God! But Physics, he does just draw the last bit of blood from the corpse, and it will be 1620 Kings to claim the round.
Oh my God. 1620 Kings showing the ability to throw Testa's face pretty much says it all. It's just, what in the heck was all of that? Chef Jeff completely departed from his chair as well. The guys, please, it's time to stop.
His heart can't take it. Poor Jeff. He's struggling. The copium, ironically, not needed for 1620 Kings.
I reckon Chef Jeff could start tapping into the early reserves of the copium already.
No. See, it's Chef Jeff. And we know nothing if not the fact that he is an incredibly resilient individual. I mean, how many times have we seen him battle back from the brink? I mean, yes, he's probably huffing deep on the copium tanks, but he's always one that will fight until the bitter end. I wonder if Supremacist might be changing his name to Supreme.Copium.
Too soon, and they have patented too soon.
This is his trial period.
Christ. Yeah, look, I think at the moment...
I don't think he can help Supremacist either. No, I'm kidding. We love Supreme. We want to see him succeed.
Can't be doing my mans like this.
Unfortunately, it's not up to us. It is up to K16, and so far, they are not making it an easy job for him on his debut.
Hey, look, I mean, again, this is something that we did kind of mention before on the desk, saying that, well, there's going to be some chemistry talks before Chef Jeff nearly, completely dissolves all of that chemistry and nearly forced the rest of Odium to fail the chemistry class. But in saying that, I reckon Odium could do some work, and well, speaking of that said work, Supremacist lands a really nice shot in the showers room as well. Takes just only a slither of damage.
Oh, no.
No, okay, that's an L. That's an L.
From the grave, Lonely gets his revenge with the ancient Isle device. Yeah, look, Supreme.copium, fast incoming.
Ay. Poor man. Poor man. Unfortunate as it is, but look, we are looking to continue that advancement even further. As a matter of fact, Logic already started clearing up the top floor, and as I believe there's only one person remaining, and that is around the actual tower stairs, and even that has been completely forfeited and defaulted back. But the site about to be opened up wide clear, and this is where the problems start compounding.
They've got the vert control though. Odium are upstairs. They're in a great position to start contesting. Soy as well, looking to try and clear things out. He's primed and ready in that kitchen door for the moment. We're only hitting the halfway mark of the round. There's already 3 players dead, favouring Odium for the moment. Pre-fires into security, not going to connect. But Odium, I mean, this is a prime spot for them.
Yeah. Odium already finding another opening here by Logic. Chef Jeff out of the equation does make things a whole lot more difficult for K16. I say that though, Edpan out. 3v2 is still relatively workable as long as KJ can keep holding his position, so is Testa. And as long as there's a crossfire, it is all very much workable. Twin might just have the Maestro's location. He certainly does. Snapper of a absolute flick there. And well, it's all down to KJ to do it. And a 1v2 nearly connects. Unfortunately, the ARX is a little bit too strong to really work with.
I mean, it's so interesting. On both sides of the equation, we've got this insanely capable hard support. On 1620 Kings, you've got Testa. On the side of Odium, you've got Twent. Both players incredibly capable of putting up the numbers. 2-2 the scoreline currently. Neither team really gaining much of a foothold.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one given how both the teams were able to previously show some good promises with their swings, with their plays. They are finally back into the swing of things on the side of K16. Yeah, it's understandable that kind of the initial swing of things went kind of good, but they nearly threw their second round win, which
for a moment I didn't even realize KJ had a camera. He looks like he's lost in the void. I think that's the first time we've ever seen him play with the lights off.
I mean, Mans need to concentrate completely. And
Jeepers. They're doing poor Twent dirty after that round.
Poor Twent. Okay, right. We are going to be going back to us for a brief short talk. But look, it does give us a little bit more time to, talk about the general context of the things and how it has been evolving. Given that I'm actually I'm down with this sort of back-to-back kind of rivalry between Odium and K16. I mean, they even already started, reminding Odium of all the, previous ventures with certain performances on certain maps and certain leagues. But I'm liking this. I'm liking how they've been performing. I'm liking the fact that both K16 has been having some good performances, and Odium able to kind of almost match the energy.
Now, Cthulhu, if I had to ask you what the main takeaway from that last round was, what would you say it was?
From the last round, whatever goes into Twent's 180-degree peripheral vision, he snaps to it.
I was going to say, if you kill a cat can, it would be safe to assume there are cat can gadgets nearby.
True. Yeah, that's another good.
That one's free, Supreme.
Poor man.
He should have checked the door.
Look, he checked the door. It's just at a different height. Mans was expecting it on the shoulder height. Unfortunately, it was at the ankle height. So look, maybe a little bit of a crippling gameplay there for him.
Yeah, unfortunately, the only height he was left with was 6 feet under. But here in the fifth, we head back to dorms. It is 2 apiece currently. Unfortunately, it has not been the cleanest run for either of these teams.
Yeah, not the cleanest, but at the same time, it's good to see that kind of a little bit of that back and forth, a much closer gameplay. Given it's been a while since we've seen that very closely contested matchup. Minus, well, it's something about 1620 Kings and going into the OT games, but
something 1620 Kings, something 15 rounds.
That is a very interesting, very odd momentum. And yeah, Twent does catch him off guard pretty quickly and fully realizing that, hey, we are looking to make this a round for ourselves rather here.
On the plus side, Lonely is not playing Capcan this round, so Twent is rest assured going to be fine to go through these doorways.
So is Supreme.
Yeah, look, he is. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be his issue right now. No Nitro Cell from Lonely, which is good. They do have, you know, that ability to get themselves in safely. Unfortunately, Physics is just going to keep doing the same thing that he's been doing every single round, getting aggressive, finding the angle. Impact Trek is... Now, there was a Nitro in play. I don't know if they just got ahead of themselves and both... I think the impact destroyed the Nitro Cell. I'm going to hope that's what happened and not just it was somewhere else and Physics impacted Chef Jeff in the face.
Well, he didn't really impact him because otherwise that would have been a much bigger damage onto the mute. But regardless of that, look, suppose whatever the plan was, they did manage to deny the breach. There is one more impact grenade, so theoretically this could still be done. But as long as Physics doesn't pull the KT special, flashbangs are coming in, and well, Physics actually still manages to pre-line up the position, and Sawyer not particularly happy about this kind of turnout. Will be forced to fall back, as so is Twent, as he's now been promoted back to the spectator screen.
Promoted, demoted, either way, it's Supremacist to find the next, the trade back on to Tester, and Logic from below will find Physics, who not quite watching his angles. Luckily, they do have Chef Jeff on the job, denies the push in through the double. Logic and Sawyer separated for the moment, one coming up white stairs. Oh, tail into KJ spotted there, so Logic will give the game away. Activating the Banshee, unfortunately KJ not quite as quick on the trigger as his counterpart, and that engagement leaves it down to Chef Jeff, and unfortunately for Odium, this might just be doable for him. He's hit with the Candelas, he's prone SMG, he's good for Logic. It is down to the IGLs, and the big shots coming through. And the shotgun out, Jeff might just be able to do this. Foot angle's not quite paying off. This could be a very hectic gunfight. Candela, Sawyer's going to throw it into an ADS, and Jeff, he just waits in the doorway. 16-20 Kings up in the round count again.
My, oh my, that was a clean deal there. Chef Jeff rather happy about that sort of result. But yeah, look, 16-20 King keeping up rather well on the side of Odium, though a little bit more of a serious set of faces, as unfortunately things not been as stable as they would have probably wanted to see them. But regardless, they're far from being out of this yet, and as a matter of fact, they still have a pretty good chance to make it a 3-3 scoreline to push this into an even Steven.
Well, I mean, it's Oregon, and it is the most competitive map in the comp pool at the moment, 50-50 globally across the board, so you can understand a 3-3 half being a likely situation. But you just got to wonder, is the tilt factor settling in a little bit for Odium? Because so many of these rounds have come down to 1v1s that have narrowly been missed by Odium.
Yeah, look, I mean, I doubt that this
Not to mention Physics antics along the way. He's been getting up and Supremacists and not checking doorways.
Look, I think it will be. I doubt that there is a whole lot of tilt factor. Yes, the Physics playstyle would be probably quite annoying to deal with. But in saying that, I reckon Odium should be still fine because, again, I don't think they are, playing full sweat, full stratting. Plus, they are having a fresh new introduction to the roster that I believe just almost somewhat recently has been brought into the roster as well. So it's kind of more so, I suppose, straight into the fire for Supreme.
Well, I mean, he didn't play with the lads in the OCS. That was Pants stepping in for the team. So I would imagine this is a very recent sub. Although, actually, to be fair, roster lock coming into play. So maybe not. Maybe it's something that they've been practicing with for a while. But right now, basement defense, as they are looking to get themselves in. Top down clear and play with the Jackal on board as well. We have 2 Nitro Cells and Lonely back on the M870.
M870 could actually be quite good to see how will it really perform. And oh, that is a very nice, very juicy scan that will be actually going for quite a while as well. Chef Jeff, although, gets the better of Logic from the tower as a roaming smoke with the SMG-11. My man's does not have any sort of regard for the life of his own opponents.
So that now about 4 weeks in a row, we have seen Chef Jeff and his attempts to spawn peek with the SMG-11. The man is an absolute menace. But his opponent Logic, he unfortunately does shut down. Logic is currently 10-4, so he's still stacking up some big numbers.
I mean, we've been talking about it for quite a while. The man has gone through quite a huge maturity process where he kind of went from being a Lion main, that kind of flex support, I suppose you could call it, to now being that entry fragger, almost like, well, the main fragger for the roster. And yeah, that scoreline has been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting seeing the transition that players go through, you know, joining Odium in different capacities. We saw it out of Elements. We've seen it now out of Logic. It's going to be interesting to see if we see it out of Supreme, depending on, you know, whether this is a full-time lock-in going to the next stage or just for LPL Pro. But they have the hatches open. Odium have this opportunity. Unfortunately, Jeff is now good for 2 as he does drop Supremacists as well. This gets scary for Odium quite quickly.
Absolutely. Might be seeing some more opportunities here, given that, well, already 2 players have been felled on the side of Odium, but still with 45 seconds remaining, one might see a few really good swings. Still 2 more buffs and boosts, you can call them however you want to, however it is, from Ed, as already Sawyer picks up a kill into Chef Jeff. Now 3v3 is much more workable. With 30 seconds to go, it needs to be snappy.
Sawyer pushes in, Physics in a bit of danger, but Tester is in close, so they know he's there. They've cleaned him out. It's big kills across the board. All of a sudden, things are getting a bit dicey. The flying opportunity is there, but KJ finds the angle, so does Tester, but it's Ed Pan. And Tester, and Eddie's good. Of course he is. I mean, he was one of the most cracked players in this team last year. Why would that not continue? And on the Finker, no less, a 3-3 half.
Absolutely. Just stunner. Stunner of a performance. Nice return to form. Adpan just continuing that swing. And I gotta say, Odium, given their circumstances, it was a bit of a dicey situation, but the sheer amount of swings that came out of that worked perfectly well, albeit, again, one would have wanted to probably see a little bit of a more dominant performance.
Yo, it's Milosh.
Hey. I rate the new Elite, by the way.
Aside from its inaccuracies in the cinematic and the 44 Magnum's recoil, but look, we move on.
Actually, you say that. In real life, the 44 mag, the auto mag, technically is what it's called, was actually considered to be quite accurate for the caliber of that gun. Given the fact that the barrel as well itself was moving as well during the actual action.
Except we've both played Siege, we know that not to be the case in this game. Nook in play for Lonely, Physics on the Finker, Jeff on the Buck as well. There's a lot of potential damage. Supremacist is going to be picking up the mantle of the Malusi. So him running around with that MP5 could do a bit of damage.
Yeah, 5 could be a rather dangerous weapon to be used. I mean, I'm liking the general kind of gist of Odium's lineup. Still very much leans into the ability to have a very flexible roam from all 5 of the players, and not a whole lot of utility that will basically anchor you back to the site. So each and one of them could really perform still here. On the side of K16, Chef Jeff back on the unstoppable Buck, the operator that he's been favoring as of recently for quite a number of matches. And the introduction of Nook could do quite a fair bit of damage in tandem with the rest of the utility, plus the boosts from the Finker of Physics.
Not to mention Tester and his capabilities on the Hibana. He should not be slouched on at all, much like Twent. He is a bit of a fragging demon on the hard support. So they are going to get themselves in, start that top down clear. They want to take big tower control to start things off. Edpan playing around the stairs is going to be looking for those audio cues, trying to catch out any drones if possible. And he should be well aware of the positioning of 1620 King's approach.
Well, so far, a bit of a calm before the storm by Odium, as they are just waiting for the push to actually commence. On the side of 1620 Kings, very much of a pace down push. They know about the presence on the tower stairs and they want to clear it out as quickly as possible. Interestingly enough, Chef Jeff not really, well, you could technically chalk it to not trusting his teammate, but at the same time wanting to make sure that all the nooks and crannies are cleared out quickly before the rest of the team pushes in. It is a decent idea, given that you don't really want KJ to go down due to the presence of the Cade. But apart from that, really clean, really quick take of the meeting room and the front lobby. But, well, I say clean, nobody really was contesting it.
Yeah, Onium, it's incredibly hunkered down. They're all down in the basement. It's a very bunker-centered hold. They want to make sure that they are prepped and ready for when 1620 Kings come their way. And going to that final minute, we are not too far off that point. Happening Tester kicks it off with a kill on a Supremacist court in towards Boiler. And that could be the opening they need. You look at Odium, they're so grouped up right now.
I mean, it would make sense for a nice, good group fight, but again, all that will matter is just the number of, a few rather, headshots, and it would be it. So grouping up would be ill-advised. Edpan looking to C4 yeeted, and it does, well, somewhat connect, but only just to tickle physics, as the same amount of HP has been actually replenished, but already in comes the push, and it's in full swing.
Skeleton key kill onto Eddie. Unfortunately, they will answer back with 2. Twent's good for it, but he's shut down. Logic, unfortunately, cannot confirm the kill. Will get the impact off instead. Jeff now down. It's Logic alone against 2. Tester and Lonely. Where are they? Lonely found. Tester, he can't commit to the plant. He's got a swing, but Tester wins it. This is why he's the current CL kill record holder.
Tester, look at his face. Stone cold face of a killer that is ready to absolutely demolish the whole opponent roster. Him and Shevchev, one of the less remaining players of the, I suppose what, third iteration of 1620 Kings? Well, a roster that then later down the line became 1620 Kings.
The 4th iteration of Skyfire from beginning of last year.
Jesus. Broken would have a number of words to say about that whole roster. But round 8, and 1620 Kings now back into the lead of the scoreline. Now, question is, we've seen so far a bit of a kind of a back and forth swing of things, but it's namely 1620 Kings kind of leading the scoreline by 1 point. Now, question being, do we see them run away with an extra point to secure a little bit of a bigger buffer so they could have the possibility of finishing it in a regulation, or do we see yet another OT coming out between themselves and Odium?
I think the scale leans to more towards the side of the OT at the moment. But I mean, the thing that blows my mind is you have Jeff, Tester, not to discount the rest of this K16 roster, but you have Jeff and Tester who consistently, over the last 12 months, have been performing. Where's their spot in Nationals? Where's their spot in Tier 1? Is it a case of they like the team they're playing with and they want to stick around with them and see what happens, or they're just not getting offers? Because it would beg a belief that these two are not getting offers, given that Tester has to be one of the best hard supports out there. Yeah,
look, I mean, maybe it's more so just the moment we get to see the the transfer window to be completely locked in, or rather unlocked, is where we might be seeing Tester move to a different roster. But as it stands, I mean, look, 1620 Kings has finally started to, unleash its own potential. So, understandably so, we could be seeing just a upwards trajectory for them to improve their performance.
No, unfortunately, wrong angle there from Lonely. Logic is going to hold down for now. The drone going in to try and spot him out. If they could find this kill on the Logic, it would open a large portion of the building for them to get aggressive on. But is it a case of audio? Is Lonely going to hear the footsteps from Logic there? He's going to swing out, goes to the pre-fires. Nothing yet. That drone knows. They know that he is there. They're committing so many resources and trying to clear him out, but it might not go Lonely's way. Pre-fire again. They have someone primed on that door. Another nade to come through. Is it just mind games? Are they trying to bait him out in the situation? Yeah, the window will pop. The jump in. Jeff, he's still alive. Will fall in the end. And unfortunately, all Lonely can really do is sit and watch. Logic still healthy enough to take the second gunfight.
Rather unfortunate what happened there to Chef Jeff. The bait and switch didn't particularly work out, and at the end of it all, Lonely actually walked off completely like, I'm just going to forget about that one. Tried to re-pick a different position, and I mean, look, as it stands, given them enough time to completely distract the roam of Logic and force, the rest of the team to open up the hatches. But as it stands, that Phantom Menace is still there, in form of that very same Malusi player, who has already rotated over to the showers. And from there on out, look, Lonely on that active flank, which could be a decent idea, but as it stands, the rest of the team will be a little bit lacking on the numbers.
Yeah, unfortunate loss there, and Lonely will finally be hunted down. Logic still alive somehow, skating his way down into the basement. They're going to be good for the hole. The push from Laundry unfortunately turns the wrong way as KJ swings. Supremacist good for one, answering back. The swing in return from Physics, unfortunately not enough to claim a life. He falls, so does Tester. And Odium will equalize once again.
Good job by Odium, managing to keep up this sort of pacing. But I reckon once we do go into the continuation of the defense, I think Odium just have a little bit more control. They're able to play for the time. They're able to force some of the more unconventional kind of plays for time. And, well, on the side of 1620 Kings, whenever they were on the defense, things were look a little bit more, I guess you could say, a little bit more chaotic. But in their own kind of right, in their own kind of way, in their own coordination way.
Well, we'll have to see if that coordination is enough to, well, break the gap, I suppose. Both teams held by the throat. They just neck and neck with each their opponents, and neither team seems quite capable of breaking free in any significant way. I think we might be seeing 1620 Kings go into another overtime this week.
Would be rather frustrating for 1620 Kings, albeit possibility of a win is still a win, but being unable to score any sort of a clean three-pointer would be, I would imagine, at least be a small point of frustration that could compound later down the line. In saying that, though, I mean, they're still managing to keep up pretty well, given the fact that Odium are a team that has seen quite a fair bit of performance and quite a fair bit of action in Tier 1 leagues. Wouldn't put it past that, well, for K16, this serves as a pretty good way of just, gauging even their own confidence. Because we know how impactful, how important confidence does get, especially when we get to talk about, the sheer abundance of swings, the sheer abundance of that aggressive gameplay. And if you don't have, confidence for any sort of that aggressive gameplay, well, what use do you have? Shevchev is, full confidence. No brain activity.
Look, I would imagine there's a lot going on in that man's head. He doesn't seem one to be sitting idly by.
Yeah,
believe it or not,
all aggression, just all there, just wants to swing.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he found a kill with a skeleton key 2 rounds ago. I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again. I don't know how he makes that secondary gun / gadget work, but he does. Edpan taking a bit of damage over towards Trophy. The drone there just baiting him out a little bit, jumps across the door. He's almost dead for his efforts. Tester nearly finds the right angle, but for now he is going to remain. Oh, Jeff.
That is a dangerous position as well. Oh, yeah, look. Certainly there has been some soiling committed after hearing that very sound of a breaking window, but Supreme actually deciding to not really emphasize of that position feels a little bit odd, but does certainly do exactly what he was asked, and that is, well, mainly to just force the buck out of that position. Finally, Shevchev is able to fit in his drone through the hole. Maybe a little bit too big.
A bomb has been located.
You know what else is big, Cthulhu?
What?
The fact that our viewers at home can win themselves some R6 credits,
Exactly.
2,400 in total, potentially 4,800, and look, there we go. Jeffy's done it. Supremacist, unfortunately, dead. KJ on the hunt. And remember, you can win yourself credits. There's potentially 4,800 up for grabs. Make sure you tweet at us at LPL_R6S using the hashtag LPLR6S. Tell us which operator you think is the best and why. But right now, the best operator, it seems, is Buck in the hands of Chef Jeff with the skeleton key. He's found himself a second through the floor. He's unfortunately not going to find the confirm as Logic gets up in his face. Sawyer there as well, but Lonely answers back, getting a bit of revenge. Sawyer trying to hold down the pickup to come through, and Edpan as Tester is on the plant. The impact dump from Sawyer. It's not going to be enough. He finds KJ though. The plant is good. Lonely for another in the round is stepping up big with that ARX in hand. Edpan in trouble, so is Tester. It's shots across the board. No one is safe. No one is secure, but Tester deep in the bedroom. Might have the angle. Sawyer knows where he is now, but it's that power of the mouse one. The LMG, he falls to Eddie. Do they have the diffuser? No. Lonely, he pulls off it. He's got stuns. Where does he look? No, he's down. And Edpan will get the defuse off as Odium will take the round lead. Tech pause called as well.
I will call a tech pause after that one as well. That was atrocious there for 1620 Kings, rather unfortunate. But as it stands, look, Odium at least being able to, bring this back, albeit off the back of a number of unfortunate misplays. But yeah, 1620 Kings, this is the time for them to really talk it out, and understandably so.
You can kind of tell that Supremacist just got skeleton keyed in that last round. The look on his face is it all. He's like, yeah. We're not going to discuss it. We'll
Yeah.
move on.
We're not talking
We
about
won
that
the
one.
round, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Look, I mean, it's one way to really go about it. And I mean, Shevchev has been, well, whenever there is an opportunity to utilize the power of the shotguns, this is exactly what he does, and it's exactly what he's able to achieve. And I mean, he's been doing it rather consistently, so why not? On the side of Odium, still very much concentrated faces. They still want to make sure that they obviously not showcasing the top end of the performance should they need to later down the line battle against some of the higher end competitors. But I say that, yeah,
To be
there's-
fair,
I mean,
they've got like a month off, so
Yeah,
I
they
wouldn't
still
be
got a month off,
surprised
so-
if they go for the gut here.
Attackers
maybe
will
closer
locate
to
and defuse
the finals if they manage to push themselves in there. But now with them being on top over the scoreline, this is looking rather promising for Odium. They might just be able to run away here if they kick themselves into the next gear. And on the side of 1620 Kings, look, yeah, they need to figure out where they need to cut corners and where they need to stop, well, going for those solo plays. Because, yeah, that last round clutch, they had the health advantage. Unfortunately, just the deeks were not there.
Yeah, rather unfortunate situation for Lonely to be put into. Hey, look, he's done his best in that situation, but it's the power of the dual swing game. Just the numbers there for Odium means that they can both swing the angle, and one of them is sure to come up with a victory, barring some miraculous flick play. But right now, meeting and dining on the board. Logic playing the Warden is going to be taking up residence in the small tower. And last minute preps to come in. The round active. Interesting little prep of the barricade there from Twent, though.
I mean, having a couple punch outs and ready to go should still at least allow either the quick jump out or a nice cheeky angle to shoot at from. But apart from that, I mean, Odium could still make it work. Physics, interestingly enough, in tandem with Shevchev, wanting to make sure that they keep up the push, and already the Skeleton Key is going into full swing of things. Adpan realizing that the trouble is coming his way, well, about to try to default back to the sides whilst alerting the rest of the team. Weirdly enough, a lot of dedication, a lot of utility has been dedicated to the small tower, but no push is actually coming that way.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they've still done a pretty solid job of getting things opened up here, having pushed through Big Tower and through Armory as well. Supremacist last-minute reinforcements through in the kitchen, trying to deny that angle from meeting. Headpan was up there, and Twent looks like he is stuck alone. No, he's got Sawyer. Okay, so Sawyer is tucked into kids at the moment. This is where things start to get a bit dicey. If the utility dump comes through and they can find the angle, Twent could find himself in trouble. Physics finds the nade onto Sawyer, and Twent, unfortunately, eats the nade to KJ, but Headpan's good for 2 with the Nitro.
Oh my goodness, yeah, the C4 absolutely huge there from Headpan, and shutting down the two powerhouse swing players, that is the KJ and Shevchev, well, will make things a whole lot more difficult, albeit Tester and Physics are still alive. Lonely still there, but unfortunately all the air jabs have been used up. So as it stands, I mean, the 1620 Kings could make a return here, but with 58 seconds to go, it may be looking a little bit more problematic, given how separated they all are.
Exothermic is going out onto the kitchen wall, so Logic, having relocated his shield, does have a decent position to try and contest. There is a pretty significant spread across the board from K16. The only players in reasonably close proximity being Lonely and Tester right now. Physics still upstairs on the hunt, looking for info. This is going to be a tall task. Logic there holding the shield, spotted and takes the head clean off a Tester. That's diffuser control down. Supremacist compounds the losses by dropping Physics there too. Lonely has to clutch up here. Not even going to go for the diffuser. Hasn't picked it up. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Knows that Logic is there. Spots the head. But Logic is just too quick with the strafe button. And Odium will pick themselves up yet another round.
Now on the match point, Odium are looking to close it out rather well. Yeah, that tag pause certainly worked out in their favor there, gotta say. And honestly, just a phenomenal turnout overall. It's been a good turnout as it stands for Odium after that after the pause, and certainly the mental is absolutely there.
Well, right now, it's, yeah, look, Odium looking like they're going to close things out here. They're playing strong siege. I mean, We have seen almost in the entirety of 10 rounds the development of a team from uncertain to well established in their roles.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very valid way to call it. Plus, as well, I mean, the defense so far for them seemed to have been a bit more of a kind of a comfort ground, given just the fact that they didn't really need to, you know, time themselves rather on where they need to be at a certain time point. It's more so set things up and then we'll go for gold in their swings in their roam, and that's exactly what has been working out quite well. Supreme as well now introducing a Goyo into the ranks of Odium for the defense should make things a little bit easier to hold the fort with, especially with the fact that Edpan is also there, who possibly could be the one to hold the elbow. But as it stands, it seems actually it might end up being Twint.
Position to change Goyo once again. We get, you know, what we should do, there should be a 50-50 chance. He should be able to throw the Vulcan packs, but it's 50-50 and it sticks to the roof or it just detonates. And,
On the
yeah,
back.
yeah, look, well, honestly, I reckon Ubisoft should go for it. Chuck it on the bottom of hatches. That'd be fun. But what is not
I'd love
fun?
to know your location.
Yeah. What is not fun, though, is the job that 1620 Kings have. They've got a lot to clear out. They've got to get themselves into the building, across, and in position to attack the basement. Already, we are 40 seconds deep.
40 seconds deep and not a whole lot of real progression there for K16 as they are hoping to find any sort of opener, but the only thing that they were able to find is just damage onto Edpan. Physics should still be able to mend his wounds with the simple boost of a finger, and yeah, K16 so far just kind of pacing themselves down, trying to, some ungodly known reason, try to together clear out the top floor, but the drones finally will be confirming that there's actually nobody hanging around the top floor, neither there is any sort of presence on the ground floor, which means, well, time to go in for the breach at the hatches.
They have the tools to do it too. Realising that there is no Cade in play. Hatches are free real estate here for Tester, so you can already hear X-Caros going out. Odium once again, they've retreated everyone back onto the site. Twent looking for the Nitro, unfortunately. Just a second too late, Tester having already vacated the premises, going over towards security to pop that hatch as well. And in fact, he's going to get all of them before the final minute.
Nice and clinical performance there from the man himself, as we are going to be going into the next bits of the round. Matter of fact, the late game, as we could possibly see Odium wrap it all up right here, right now.
Entirely possible, but they've got to win the round first. Drone's already going in. Eddie in a dangerous spot playing by Harry Potter, has the glasses activated, so he could be in a bit of trouble, especially if a stun does just land at his feet. Supremacist there. And towards Boiler, trying to provide some support, and Eddie's just trying to juggle these glasses, doesn't want them to fully shut down, and there to stun. It is going to be just deep enough, but unfortunately he turns around and looks straight at it. The push coming in just a moment, but Eddie's good for Chef Jeff. No more Buck in play, no more Skeleton Key, and Supremacist there for a second. Twent can't hit his mark from distance. Physics is just going to win it out, but it's all coming apart. Sawyer's good, but no! Physics baited out, so is KJ, and Odium will close it before we see OT.
Unfortunate loss there for K16, but Odium doing a clean work, and yeah, look, all kind of just chilling there, all kind of relaxed, and yeah, look, it is what it is, but finally some smiles do come around, some, well, relief on the faces of Odium players, as, well, the dub has been acquired 7-4.
17-7, a +10 for Logic by the end of the match. I mean, it is that evolution that we have seen him undergo playing with this roster this year. The numbers that he's putting up, the kills across the board. I mean, where does he go from here? Because it's only better.
Oh yeah, it's getting better and better, and I think this is kind of that, you could call it the training ground, but in all the regards, I gotta say, Odium, whilst they took a moment to get themselves together, get themselves adjusted to this kind of playstyle that K16 were looking to enforce, late game and the late run within Oregon was absolutely just theirs for the taking, and they finally make it a nice clean 3-pointer for themselves. That has been in the works for a couple days, but honestly, with that, they are going to be scoring themselves yet another really clean dub, another clean 3-pointer, which should be propelling themselves rather nicely upwards on the leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps them that much closer to being in that top 4, which, I mean, is great. That's where you want to be. It doesn't matter. Usually, you just want to be at the top 4 because you can still then do the work you need to in prepping for the team that you're versing. I mean, even 4th seed could potentially upset 1st seed given what we've seen so far. And Oregon, I mean, honestly, I'd still argue that wasn't full 100% Odium, which is still promising.
Yeah, I'm very much agreeing with you here. I reckon there's still going to be quite a fair bit of progression from Odium. And honestly, look, once we do get to the playoffs, I reckon this is where we could see the actual kind of big return to form.
And speaking of progression, right now we're going to progress on to our second match of the evening. But first, obviously, we're going to have to go to a break. So when we come back after, we'll be jumping into the Warriors and Team 7. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon.
なぜいつもここに来るんですか？フルーツならデリバリーもできます。お金もあるんですし。
金持ちはただ待っていると？私をそんな風に見ていたのか。
いえ、でもここは人が多すぎます。
お前は信頼できる子だが、少し肩の力を抜いたらどうだ。でないと大切なものを見落としてしまうぞ。この果物とかね。これを一つ。ヒロ、どうした？震えている。
伏せて。
お。
ここに。
私の家に忍び込むなんて自殺願望でもあるの？
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, we had some minor technical issues with the interview, so we won't be getting to chat with Odium. But if you want to avoid technical issues and you want a decent keyboard, check out the Roccat Magma Membrane RGB gaming keyboard. It will sustain you, it will keep you going. It is a solid product. It's what our producers use. They've got a pretty nice one next door, actually. It looks pretty cool. I'm thinking about it myself. But remember, consider with this competition that's going on, the tweet competition. Tweet in, tell us what your favorite operator is and why, and you could be winning yourself 2,400 R6 credits. And we have one of those tweets right now from Culture out of the Warriors camp. My favorite operator is Finker because Sean can never win his gunfights, so he's always on low HP, so I gotta help him out. Fair point.
Valid point.
Understandable. Culture, thank you very much for your tweet. Remember, you guys at home can do it. The winner will be announced at the end of the evening, of course. And look, 2,400 R6 credits, skin share program. The skins at the moment are pretty clean. Right now, though, we are looking to go into our next matchup. The Warriors taking on Team 7. Both teams a bit of a tumultuous run. It hasn't been the cleanest of roads, but both teams have shown promise that they can compete at this level. And honestly, this could be the most 50-50 matchup of the day.
Yeah, look, I'll definitely have to agree with you on this one, Panda. Just given the fact that, yeah, for Team 7, their past few performances has been actually a really, really good turnout, given that they've managed to take down Underground, they've taken down Odium. So their own adventure has been, as of recently, a pretty solid one. On the side of Warriors, look, very much of a back and forth. Play day 3, they didn't even get to play. It was a forfeit from Onami, unfortunately. Against 1620 Kings, it was a clean victory. And against Underground, that's where they kind of lost it out. So they kind of end up seeing themselves in a little bit of that, I suppose, the middle ground, where they still a pretty solid team. And well, against Underground, I don't think we yet to see any sort of concrete kind of play.
Let's dive on into it and break down the teams. Up first, of course, it is the Warriors Esports Club. Triss, Shant, Bot, Tilted coming in as a last-minute sub, and Culture. We just saw him tweet in, of course. I mean, look, yeah, Bot has been a massive performer. He stepped up a couple of play days so far, but it's not been consistent. He is one of those, it's an appearance here, an appearance there, just not every single week. The rest of I mean, this team as a whole still finished reasonably well in, Challenger League. They've been playing well here. It's just a matter of consistency.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely rate this Warriors roster, albeit, look, a departure from the previous kind of 5-man setup where they were talking about the identity crisis that they had at the beginning of the year and later down the line found their own stride. But look, I'm keen to see how will they perform with obviously the stand-in from Tilted with what now I'm assuming is now a complete sub for Warriors in form of Triss. Look, I reckon they could find their own footing here in LPL Pro as well.
And their opponents, look, they haven't really struggled with identity crisis whatsoever. They've known who they were from day one. Unfortunately, that hasn't guaranteed them results. Obviously, it is Team 7, Campo, Phoenix, Sealy, Worm, and last week's returnee user TM back playing for the team again.
Yeah, look, a team that had some really interesting performances, but they managed to keep it nice and stable for themselves. I mean, that whole highlight of their performance from, or rather against Odium was a really phenomenal one. I mean, you look at the scoreline, 4 wins on the defense, 3 wins on the offense from themselves, whereas it only left Odium with only 2 rounds to take on each one of the sides to try to at least get even remotely close to equalizing the scoreline. So roster for Team 7 has been working out pretty well, and honestly, I'm kind of keen to see how far will they progress.
Well, the progression is key, obviously. Let's have a look at our head-to-head and progress through the broadcast. And, well, look, it's Bot and Phoenix, 2 players who, on their own right, are incredibly capable. Bot less consistently so than Phoenix, unfortunately. So, if Bot shows up today, this could be all Warriors all day. But if he doesn't, it gives a huge opportunity for Team 7 to pick themselves up another win tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, the one thing that has been going really well for Team 7 is they have that kind of a really good lineup of the players that each and one of them could really play into that fragging role, but also know exactly how to be a flex support, however you want to call it. And on the side of Warriors, they tried to keep up with that whole kind of very well constructed, very kind of fitted to each one of the players' role. But in reality, things been looking a little bit shaky and kind of almost calling for that similar flexibility.
Now, we've already heard from Coulter tonight. He called out Shot in a pretty big way. But we're also going to hear from Shot, the man himself. We sat down, had a bit of a chat with him this week to get, an idea of how things are going in the Warriors camp.
Hey, I'm Sean and I play for the Vodafone Warriors. My role generally has been the sort of hard support, IGL. I'm sort of here to enable everyone. I think last week I had a bit of a mix-up just for some fun, jumping on the entry, but yeah. It's been a bit unfortunate that we've only been able to play 2 games so far with a few forfeits here and there. But overall, it's been pretty fun. I'd say our strengths as a team this season have been our individual skill and playing one-to-one off each other, like getting those refrags and stuff.
Bot looking to get aggressive, finds one. They absolutely mop up the Warriors on a heater.
I think we could probably work on maybe closing out the rounds a bit more. I think we can start off the rounds usually pretty well, but it just, when it comes down to that execute and that final minute of the round is, I think, where we fall down a bit. Definitely some fragging out. We're just going to have some fun this week.
Schmidt so far has been an absolutely standout player. He does nail the better of KJ.
Ultimately, our goals for this season are just to have some fun and get some more game time as a team. We're pretty new. We've only started maybe 2-3 months ago. So going up against Team 7, we're feeling pretty good. Should be a fun matchup. I hear Phoenix is a bit of a gunner, so we'll have to look out for him, but I think we'll be all right. Probably we're just going to play our own game, work some stuff out. Hopefully work on closing those late rounds out.
I mean, incredibly well-grounded, knows exactly where they stand as a team. They haven't been together for that long, but they know where their strengths lie. And he said it, Sean, he perfectly summed it up. If they play their game tonight, they could pick up the win here.
Yeah, they fully acknowledge the dangers of Team 7 and how well they have been performing overall. So in saying all of that, look, I reckon we could have a really well-paced, well-played game from them, and we'll see where they go. Albeit it will still very much depend how much and how powerful they are on the fragging game as well.
It also depends on where we go. Of course, the battlefield. The map veto's underway. No border, no sky. 3 maps. The fun ones banned out immediately. But we do decode to Cafe Dostoevsky. And I mean, do you think that worries either of these teams? I mean, we've seen how willing Warriors are to lean into the aggression. You look at Schmidt and the spawn peaks, the runouts consistently on Clubhouse against 1620 Kings. But, I mean, Team 7, they're a team that are known for that almost ranked style of play, the Tier 3 special. This map could be spawn peak galore.
Yeah, it is going to be absolutely painful if Warriors don't acknowledge that initial kind of aggression that Team 7 could be absolutely bringing in. Funnily enough, we talk about Warriors' performances. They really didn't get to show a whole lot of maps. Even Shant himself really highlighted it up. And the only win that we did see actually from them was, funnily enough, on Clubhouse, which was against 1620 Kings. So going into that, we haven't really seen any cafe from them in terms of LPL Pro. So possibly this is where we could be seeing some new strats being experimented on, maybe some new showcases being displayed.
You know what, Cthulhu? I fancy a bit of a coffee. Let's go to Cafe Dostoevsky. We're going to go have some pastries, sit down for a nice bit of afternoon tea, and let the fragging begin. We get on into the map, the Warriors versus Team 7. Well, we're going home, Cthulhu. It's Cafe, it's Russia, it's all kicking off.
Indeed it will be. Curious, how will they be able to hold on their own? Tilted very much ready to roll, and so is Team 7. I mean, getting all warmed up, all needing to get keen. I mean,
look at that user team. You'd think he was cold. I mean, I say that we're nice and warm here in the studio when we hit outside.
Yeah, we're nice and warm in the studio.
It's going to be a different story, but Team 7 starting on the defense, on Cafe.
This should be good.
Who's getting spawn peaked first?
The whole of Warriors, I reckon, Panda, given just the sheer caliber and the sheer just ability to unconventionally frag out. Let's just call it.
Well, that's the question. So how soon before we have a spawn peak or a run out?
Oh, straight away in round 1.
And how soon before we have a rush play?
Rush play is probably, we will wait till second half.
Which team will be the one to do it?
Oh, it will be Team 7, 110%.
Oh.
Okay, I'm liking that one. Warriors getting rid of Finka, understanding that it could be used as a nice crutch for Team 7 to use.
Whoa, you can't be doing Finka dirty like that. Whether or not it's true, like, you can't be doing it like that.
Hey, I mean, it is what it is.
It is not the truth, no.
Am I wrong?
Am I wrong? No, yeah, 100%. Everyone, you know, the go-to call is your crutch finger, LMG crutch, whatever. It's not going to be there.
It's the LMG, just everything is there. Mirror to be banned out, we don't really care about that one either. But honestly, look, I mean, Team 7 will be possibly struggling a little bit on the attack, but going into their defense, they should be still pretty much all comfortable on their play, because Wamai is still allowed in there, the Jaeger is still allowed in there, so they are covering their bases, plus introduction on Thunderbird that they did tease before.
And we're going to see Phoenix back on his business. He's got the alibi in play. Oh boy, this one is
Should be spicy.
this is I can already tell this is going to be hyper aggressive from Team 7. They've got the Thunderbird in play. Someone is going outside.
Exactly that. Look, I mean, I would be surprised if we don't get to see some sort of a jump out, run out, spawn peek, or any sort of out of the building aggression from Team 7. This is something that they have been specializing rather thoroughly. So wouldn't put it past that they would want to perform that same kind of trick again, and kind of set the initial pace into the idea that Warriors will have to essentially play for counter of that aggressive play. So quite possibly that could be the idea. Introducing those alibi prisoners as well should make things a whole lot more interesting for Team 7's defense.
I mean, the crazy thing is you got some of the scariest guns across the board on the defense, and User. He's trying to time it. He's trying to time it. There's 4 players there, User. You can't be going for it. We'll pull off the angle. That could have been absolutely deadly. I mean, he almost timed that to perfection too.
Tracing was nearly good, but unfortunately didn't really pay for subscription maybe just yet. Apart from that, the roam from Campo. Out of all the players, I was actually expecting him the least to be the roamer downstairs, but a cheeky run out could actually do a whole lot of work.
Nitro Cell, tossed by User, is going to assist in the opening of the hatches there for the Warriors, unfortunately. More than he would have liked, I would imagine, but look at this. There is potential for a run out, but no one is there. No one is down on the second floor to make it happen. And okay, User, you're playing a dangerous game. He's just skirting his way across the bars in the middle of the site below the skylight.
Man's got to frag out, and frag he will. Certainly looking to do that very case with already, well, just almost to be a minute and a half. Any sort of, well, tangible progression is yet to be made here by Warriors, which could be indicating at certain issues. I say that Worm straight off the bat, completely deleted. Swing comes out, Bop takes quite some damage from a pixel position of Sealy, but New Zealand Warriors are continuing to just keep on chugging along, and a bit of a problem there for T7 to cope with, because Bop is on an absolute roll.
We did say he could be the difference maker. Unfortunately, Sealy is going to catch him, but shot lines up the final two. The Warriors, we did say, Bot, if he shows up today, could be the difference maker, and he's already showed up in round 1.
There it is. Yeah, the man is on an absolute heater. There we go. Sean even fist bumps the camera as well. They know they are on a high here. They rolling on a high note, and it certainly worked out pretty well. I mean, that drop down to kick things off was clean. That swing, Phoenix caught completely with his pants down, I gotta say. Man was not expecting the crouch walking jackal to be right up in his face.
But that's the thing, he saw Bot. He jiggle peeked the angle twice, saw his shoulder both times.
No, but it's the shock value.
Yeah. Hold on, he's still pushing me. What is going on?
Hey, yo, he's still here. What the jackal do? And, well, the response was certainly there. The jackal was ready to frag him out and completely take on the whole top floor position. But look, a good, absolutely phenomenal push there by Warriors. Now the question being is whether it was just Warriors' way to set the pace right, or whether it's part of the whole grand plan here to keep on pushing the way how they did. Triss swapping over from the Hibana to the Capitao, and I'm assuming it is going to be, the secondary hard breach is 1. So there's still hard breach possibilities, but again, now Capitao's role starting to get a little bit more influential. That position, Phoenix could have punished that spawn, but unfortunately the timing wasn't there.
honestly, how long before he changes his name to Phoenix? Because he is just a demon when it comes to this game. I mean, even Sean paid respect. You know, Phoenix is known for his gunplay. Worm, though, is going to find the first, and that is Tristafall. That is all. I repeat, all of your hard breach now gone. Nitro Cell as well, not going to find any traction, but does that really matter at this stage?
Yeah, look, I mean, maybe it would matter later down the line with the lack of the...
Well, it's not just that, though. It's hard breach, smoke, and
Hard
asphyxiating
breach,
bots, plus the LMG.
Plus the LMG, yeah. Plus, well, another set of drone positions and the hope of maybe having some sort of an active flank watch. Unfortunately, neither of those options are going to be in place. And, well, for Team 7, it's a good start. Worm not dying in the early stages of the round. Instead, it's him dishing out the heat. Means that, well, a call for a re-rotation might be coming in, albeit I say that Bop might be getting himself live drone, but a play from behind the machinery could be rather dangerous.
Again, Worm somehow getting himself the hell out of danger. He's going to tuck himself into Fireplace and start rotating back to a more favourable position, just playing a little bit deeper on the angle, might even hit up to the third floor. And this is where things start to get problematic for the Warriors. You're a player down, you're a key player down at that. That's one less player, like you said, that can be sitting on the drones at any given time. And you have no given way into the site with Bot falling to Phoenix. It makes that just that little bit harder. There's a minute 10 to play and things are just swiftly rolling downhill. Luckily though, Culture's going to find one.
Yeah, with now Phoenix out of the equation, that's one of the big fraggers now going and out, but I say that's still a minute only to go with the rotation coming in from the brown stairs. This is where problems could start compounding. Worm already finds his first gunfight, and actually able to down tilt it as well, making it a 2v4. Will be a much more problematic push, given that Sean's position has now been revealed. Culture now needs to back up his teammate.
I just realised, do you remember Culture's tweet about how, you know, my favourite operator is Thinker because Sean constantly loses his gunfights and needs my help.
Sabotage.
And they've banned the Thinker out.
Sabotage.
Is it Sean who has banned it because he's like, nah, shut up, Culture? Or is it the rest of the team who'll be like, well, Sean, it's time for you to stand up, stop being carried, and get yourself into this game? And unfortunately, they are going to lose the round here on the kitchen attack. That Thinker, though, how much has it played? How much a difference has it made?
It might have just been just about enough difference. I mean, having the ability to at least boost yourself a little bit more to be able to take one or two more extra shots would make things a whole lot nicer, but unfortunately not for Vodafone Warriors, at least within the context of this very matchup, as well she is gone and out. But honestly, I gotta be questioning as to, well, how much was it prepared even by Team 7 and whether they were keen on looking forward to this kind of matchup. Because, look, I mean, they managed to keep themselves pretty well paced apart from that first round. And I mean, the general play from them and the swings from Worm as well on the roam have been actually pretty well timed.
Phoenix bringing something different. It's the Oryx coming into play. I love me an Oryx, if I'm being perfectly honest myself. Regardless of, you know, 1620 King's tweet earlier. But again, it's Worm leaning into the Thunderbird. It's almost like a haha, we've got heals, you don't type deal.
That's one way to really interpret that, and understandably so. Yeah, look, being able to get yourself reset back on the side the moment you decide to default back. This is a decent idea and a good way about it, really. Kind of, giving yourself, yeah, look, a little bit of extra, and Phoenix does make use of those covenant stations rather thoroughly.
Now who's got the crutch?
Hey, I mean, we talk about Oryx on the side of the defense of T7. Look what Sean brought in.
Yeah, look, we acknowledge it, we understand it, we are just going to move on. But I mean, it's the perfect pairing on the defense. An operator who damages himself running through walls and one that has little healing stations around the map. So it should be quite nice for Phoenix, looking to get himself around. Worm looking for the Nitro, unfortunately, again. It is not going to hit its mark. The bait out of the sledgehammer was quite clean there from the Warriors.
Absolutely. Warriors making sure that they're nailing all of their prep setups and prep pushes. Certainly looking to make sure that their job is staying clean as much as one can make it clean, but the push or the swing could be big. Culture, does he know? Does he expect? Could there be a pre-fire? No,
knows now.
In the push, but no. Phoenix only tagged up with just a fraction.
And he's back to full health, courtesy of the Kona stations. You love to see it. And right now, Sean He's waiting for the call. Culture will find the first, that being user TM, followed up by Worm. The straight send on into Cocktail, and shot is good for Campo, and quickly in succession. It's all coming apart from Team 7. One player now remaining. Where is Phoenix? What can he do? He is down in mining. Is he going to be spotted? They need to make the push. I mean, they've got site control entirely, so they will be going for that plant. The drop down in towards pillars. Nothing seen just yet, and Phoenix, he's just going to have to wait while Trist goes for the plant. This is not the ideal situation. Team 7 spots the head, but it's a flawless shot. He's made it work. He says, what crutch, what finger? I don't need you, Culture.
Don't need any of that. Just swing and peek and, well, acquire the grain. It seems like it's the play. Well done. Whereas continue their kind of ability to keep up the scoreline advantage, albeit it is back-to-back kind of, or rather back and forth swings from both teams. But apart from that, look, I gotta say that reset of momentum certainly worked out quite well there for Warriors to just get themselves back into the swing of things.
Back up to the third floor. No armory just yet. There is a possibility we see it come out in the 6th pick, but I think the Nomad just fits that a little bit more, especially on this site. We see a couple of changes up again. Use TM on the Kaid with the TCSG this time. Phoenix is back on the Wemite. I mean, this site was the Warriors to take, and it was largely spearheaded by bots just crouch walking onto the site.
Yeah, look. Crouch walking.
Crunch walking. Crip walking if you're mozzing.
Oh, yeah. Canonically, he can actually do it.
Yeah, it was confirmed. Martin Copping said he learned to crip walk using Mozzie and Rainbow Six Siege.
Fun facts at LPL Pro, it seems today. But honestly, I gotta give it to Warriors. They're managing to adapt to the way how Team 7 been playing so far. Has been absolutely a formidable kind of effort and phenomenal way to, you know, conduct themselves. Being able to just basically just adjust how they go in for the swings, go for those crouch walks, and well, the rest is history. So far, so good.
Speaking of swings, Phoenix, he wants it. It looks like there is one out there on that bakery balcony on the roof. Does he have any info? He wants it. He wants it so badly. But he's not going to commit just yet. Wants to contest the window by the half bar. No. Pulls back, doesn't go for the jump out, and smartly so.
Yeah, it would have been a rather dangerous prospect. Wonder if there's going to be any sort of repercussions for later down the lines, because I mean, yeah, look, a couple of setups here obviously there, but right now it would have been a rather nasty thing to really perform right now on the NZ Warriors. But again, it's all off the back of just the sheer amount of utility that has been dumped already, and as it stands, Culture might just be able to completely dislocate, yeah, the pixel, that very pixel position. That would have been big onto preventing any sort of pushes through the cigar shop is rather no more.
Yeah, I mean, it seems interesting. Team 7 not even looking to contest cigar shot. We know a lot of teams at the moment liking to play their shotguns in there. Sitting, well, depends on which team you're looking at, whether it's the Jaeger or the M870 or, you know, Mute or something along those lines. But right now, New Zealand Warriors in a great position. Bot, he's going to spot his first, but this time Worm is the one to come up victorious.
Well, Bot not particularly enjoying that kind of counter, I suppose. Will be returned back to the spectator screen, but Triss, a dangerous position added, and a very dangerous well for any of the Romans as well. The damage has been kind of exchanged, but only in the hands, or rather into Triss. Then Tilted is the one to get taken out. Worm on a double, actually, maybe make it a triple overall, and a quick default down. I would call it as all according to plan.
Oh, look, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt here, but yeah, rotating back downstairs, Triss knows that he's pulled off the angle right now. Shots out, and Worm is going to lose a decent chunk of health, but shot falls to Phoenix. Impact, and Worm's good for a fourth. A 4K and a flawless round from Team 7 to answer back.
Well. Good result here as Team 7 do manage to keep up this pressure, keep up the pace to a piece. Is the scoreline between the Warriors roster and the T7 roster as well. it seems to be kind of an idea and a game of kind of a catch-up here between the two rosters. One is setting up the pace, the other one trying to match it, and then, well, comes round number 2. Well, they seem to manage to match it, but it's only just to be able to draw out the scoreline. So, question being is, at which point do we see one of those teams break out from this kind of almost a match of tennis in regards to their points, and we'll be able to pull a breakaway, given, well, Oceania managed to do it on their, what, 4-4 scoreline?
I don't know why you're talking about tennis. I think the closest you could come to a conceivable sport with everything in the game of Rainbow Six Siege is golf, with Sledge's hammer and an impact grenade, which does not sound like a great time anyway. So tennis...
That sounds like a short-lived golf there.
Yeah, tennis is probably more akin to dodgeball, what you could achieve in this game.
No, I mean, look, you could still use the very same sledgehammer and just use the normal frag grenade as your tennis ball and just keep on popping.
I got some bad news for you. That's baseball.
Formalities. It's still the same stick, just without the net.
If you want to get localized, it's probably cricket. But right now, I don't think sport is anything that either of these teams are focused on. Phoenix, he's out for 2! Massive
no
kills!
way.
Will be shut down, but that's your damage done. Bot and cultured, relegated to the drone screen.
Ay. Not the kind of result, not like this. Wominator adds even more salt to the injury. Shant gone and out completely, and we were talking about the breakaway. It certainly seems like this is the time. Team 7 about to score themselves that, well, second in a row round, and which could really propel them higher up on the points in the whole swing of things. Wominator will be saying goodbye to his retinas, but as it stands, a 4v2 is definitely going to be a rather difficult task to really perform for Warriors.
Worm's not shying away from it though. He wants to get involved. Unfortunately, Tilted, who took down his teammate Phoenix, is going to find him as well. The AK-12 does go, oh, user buddy. Young Cade coming into play, channeling his inner Chad beard. Unfortunately, decides that TCSG might be the play. No, he's back on it. 44 Magnum.
I mean, 44 Magnum is still a solid gun. Makes it a whole lot more spicy when you manage to nail a nice headshot. Plus, I mean, the scope does allow things allows the gunfights to go into a rather more longer range engagements. But as it stands, Tristan Tilted, 2 players that could still very much do it for both full HP. It's more so now about how will T7 conduct themselves in just holding back their urge to go in for the swings.
Honestly, there are 3 guns in this game that I reckon you should just get an instant match win if you spawn peek and successfully kill someone with. 44 Magnum, the ACS-12 and the TCSG. Actually, I'll throw the Boss G in as well. If you can get spawn peeks with that, you should just automatically win maps. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, it's not in the rules, but it's what I reckon personally. Going to the final 50, I mean, T7 have the player advantage. Unfortunately, it's not going to matter too much for the Warriors as it gets even worse. Tilted, he's found 2. In fact, he's found the only 2 kills for the team so far. He's on for the ace clutch if he can make it happen. The AK-12 is the gun to do it with. Oh, no, sorry, it's the AK-74U, isn't it? It doesn't matter, he's dead.
It doesn't matter, yeah, he's dead. But to answer your question, no, it would be just an AK-74, given that the U1 will be the shorty.
Ah, yes.
So that was a 74. Interestingly enough, in real life, actually has a higher rate of fire. Albeit none that it mattered, really. The Nomad still ended up taking an L.
He died, yeah.
And he died. So, but yeah, look, it is what it is. But Team 7 do manage to make it work rather well. Albeit, you know, the prospect of having a 74U in the game maybe later down the line would be nice, but highly doubtful.
Yeah. One of the many guns that you'd love to see in the game. But, unfortunately, we're going to have to deal with the recycled ones for the moment. I mean, how weird is it that the Thorn's gun is the first new gun we've had in, what, almost 2 years?
Yes.
Before that, it would have been P10 Roni, wouldn't it?
Would it be, actually? Yeah, I think that will be it, yeah. Jeez.
Wait, which came first? Was it Chimera or...
No, so Chimera
was first, and then Burnt Horizon, wasn't it?
Yes, so Chimera was at the beginning of the year. Christ, it's been so many seasons of this one. It's just
it's all just merged together.
It's all just merged together. It's all Siege. It's all a wonderful, wonderful title that does allow us to.
Actually,
be
if you want to
witness
get pedantic, it'd be the Gone 6, but we're not that kind of crowd here.
It's not a gun at this point.
I don't know. Worm took a body shot with one. Actually, no, sorry, it wasn't Worm. It was Edpan. That's right. Worm is looking for a 2. That's 2 players on the spawn peak up from Cigar Lounge right now. There is no one there, guys. It's not for lack of trying. There's just no one there. Worm, there's just never going to be anyone there. They didn't spawn.
Didn't spawn at all, didn't do it there, but look, unfortunately, no frags. And, well, only damage that did go into was, well, into Worm. So, unfortunately, we yet to see any sort of big progression for the Mans and for the team. Do we reckon that we could see, though, another opener for Triss as he just misses out, and Campo actually goes in for a big drive-by to get the better of Culture. Another gunfight does erupt at the top of the white stairs. Sean barely in HP, matter of fact, completely finished off and doing with the C4. T7 absolutely obliterating their opponents.
Ragged Demons, but I mean, it's Cafe. Again, it tends to fall more on the defender side of the line. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see 4-2 halves traded. Bot almost takes out Campo there. 3 versus 5. I mean, again, it's doable in Siege. All it takes is a headshot. And we've seen that happen more often than we would care to admit. Unfortunately, with Campo on the job, Botty's now dead. And that loss becomes, oh, nade, pop nade. It's not going to be good enough. Unfortunately, Tilted not cooking it as near as he needed to.
A little bit raw on that cook. But as it stands, I mean, it's still a rather thorough play. Triss,
buddy.
Technically, that's a quad that he's just lined up, but that was a pretty cool, quick, clean play. But T7, for lack of a better word, still being able to be that chaotic energy.
Wouldn't have happened if there was a Finker in play, just saying.
True.
Just saying.
Sag.
Misban. What?
Misinput.
Yeah, misinput. Door stuck. It's all coming apart at the seams, but you know what you can do to avoid things coming apart at the seams with your esports career? Check out NZMA. They've got some NZQA approved esports courses going at the moment, so make sure you use the command. I believe it's !NZMA in chat. I think that's what Broken was telling us. And you can get some more information. Set yourselves up for a career in esports. It basically gives you background and everything you need to know on all those roles, you know, the ones you're not sure about. What we do, casting, production, all the rest of it. So definitely some handy info to have.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
Absolutely. Well, quite a potent way to go about it.
Maybe if Triss had it there, he would have been in a better spot.
Absolutely. Well, maybe later down the line, maybe in the next iterations of Warriors' performance, we could be seeing Triss performing after he starts his own road in esports. But, well, speaking of starting their own road, well, Team 7 possibly looking at a 3rd in a row possible victory here if they keep up this same swing of things. And looking at it, yes, in fact, they could be the 3rd in a row. So already got the better of Underground, already got the better of Odium. Funnily enough, their scoreline between Underground and Odium is the same, 7-4, 7-4. So theoretically, we could be seeing a possibility of that again. And well, at least we could be seeing, well, finally some sort of consistency from Team 7.
Team 7-4. See, numbers, it works. Triss though, he's gonna have to back off, and my God, Shanti's just dead. Phoenix walks in with the LMGE. He's claiming scalps for himself, and he's not done yet.
Phoenix just one of the big highlights that we've been talking about on and off the broadcast. The man is just an absolute fiend. Culture, has the perfect flank, but already manages to shut things down. Well, rather get himself shut down, courtesy of Campo. Only the Iana gone, but there's still plenty of other utility to go through. Users still on the F2 game. Phoenix getting extra spicy with those swings. Bot taking quite a fair bit of damage as well. In comes the swing. Phoenix wants to touch, and in goes the brrr, and none of it connects. Sealy, you have to go on for the Bushmate. He certainly does, and a suppressed C7 does blast things off.
Well, he finds himself tilted as well. Will be shut down by Triss, who is not the healthiest individual. Oh no, the taser drone to come through. That's big damage. Campo's crouch walking his way through. Oh, that's a Vulcan pack. That's a Vulcan pack. That's spicy, user. You want to get yourself out of danger, Triss. He's going to make the rotate towards the red hallway, though. There is still somehow 90 seconds left in play, which is 30 seconds for each of the players alive in the server. Camp on the plant is going to be good for it. Triss needs to find himself an angle to try and contest. User has to try and find himself a kill. Unfortunately, right now, he has absolutely none. And oh, what a good rotate there from Campo.
Yeah, good read. Oh, not a good reaction, though, as Campo does fall to the org and spotted at the edge of the screen. User holds his angle rather truthfully. Doing a really great job there. Well,
he nearly whiffed that. He very nearly whiffed the F2 spray. But he gets it, and he gets himself a kill on the board. Team 7 take round 7, and they put themselves 2 rounds away from picking up the map.
So far, so good. The attack has been rather clinical there from them, and something that, well, for Warriors, we are now possibly going to start, asking ourselves the question whether that sort of continuous switch, that continuous shift in the roster, does it make it work, given that they just managed to find themselves that sort of their own momentum, their own identity, their own kind of chemistry, and all of a sudden, well, in they come into LPL Pro and already 2 players short of their original core roster, and it's not really showing a whole lot of promises despite the sheer amount of efforts from players like Bolt, like Culture, like Shont.
User TM currently hovering something a little bit different. Phoenix, well, he's going to be doing Phoenix things from the looks of things. The Nook to come into play. In Campo, he wants a bit of a change. He doesn't want to be running the ace anymore after that last round, so he's going to be looking to ring the Hibana instead. A couple of changes across the board, but the one change that is not happening is the Fuse coming into play.
Oh yeah. Look, Fuse on this very site could be a rather dangerous entity, and that is if he's being given the, the ground to really work around with. So we are going to be quite tentatively looking for that very idea. Plus the sheer ability of doing the heart breaching as well. So User will be having quite a solid, role on his hands, and a good idea in terms of deciding to go for a vertical repel. Apart from that, Team 17 has had a much more paced down play. I say that though, Jiggle Peaks off easy. Oh, Phoenix. Oh, Phoenix. Oh. None yet connect.
That was a very dangerous contest. I mean, the angles that were being played there, if either player had connected, it was death. There was no other way about it. Honestly, I was half expecting a trade to come through. But not to be right now. Phoenix is going to rotate himself over towards the small bakery window, wanting to find himself some sort of avenue into the building. My question, though, where is User TM, given that all, or at least the vast majority of presence from the defenders are downstairs, and in fact they are all downstairs, so it should be free real estate getting above the site.
Absolutely. Well, User already has the position, technically, but he hasn't yet confirmed if the whole floor is his playground. We speak about that though. Plentiful amount of presence on the 3rd and the 2nd floor, but no actual big presence or big pressure yet. There is a player downstairs around the coat hanger as well, and in comes the, hockey pucks as well coming around. This is going to be getting rather quickly chaotic and forcing off those positions
tilted.
Quite big. Tilted. Oh, not enough to down. It's enough to get the better of Triss. User claims the life.
That's our unfortunate second Fuse puck kill we've seen in the last week. Still, unfortunately, User is going to fall finished off finally, as is Phoenix. The Warriors, courtesy of Sean, answering back in a pretty big way. Heading into the final 50, though, Sealy brings it back to a 3 versus 3. Health bars almost identical for both teams right now. Campo above is looking for the angle, the pixel. The ping's coming through. They know that there's one on the bomb chassis just outside the freezer. Unfortunately, the angle not going to present itself, and Worm might be the one to drop the hatch and make the play, force the encounter. But no, it's going to be Campo. He drops onto the shelf. It's a bait. Perfect. They find 2. And it's Shont alone to try and clutch up from Coach Check. He's got to rotate himself in. No, he can't. Team 7 are on map point.
Oh boy. Team 7 absolutely are looking ballistic. Yeah, look. User TM calling himself Fuse TM. Like, I mean, understandable after that kind of dub with the cluster charges. I mean, gotta give yourself a pat on the shoulder.
Honestly, I think User would probably be giving himself a pat on the shoulder even if he was fragless this map. He's not one to shy away from hyping himself up.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, definitely curious results there from T7 in general, but a cat thorn.
A tournament, I think, is what's meant to be called.
Yeah.
Old cat girl elements getting some representation here. But Triss, look, I rate the Thorn. It's going to be interesting to see where they place it, given that.
Surely tandem with Frost.
Or you'd have to imagine.
Surely.
That is a potent combo, especially with no thinker in play. So you are as good as dead, because if you go down, no one is going to be wanting to jump in to help you.
Exactly. Plus, I mean, it kind of dates back to the OG, you know, the Legion and the Frost combination back before he got nerfed with the initial damage, where you could stack the Legion mines in such a way that the moment you essentially fall into the Frost trap, you pretty much instantly get killed by that whole combination. So kind of dating back to that one as well to a certain degree. Could be keen to see how it actually would work
out here showing his age.
Yeah, look, I'm a boomer in Siege. I think at this point that's everyone's knowledge.
But Bot, he's looking to make this angle work again. Unfortunately, or not to be, I don't believe. Yeah, it looks like a full send up to the roof. No, User was there, and he spots it. Bot, a missed opportunity to go for the frag. Doesn't even commit to the shot onto the Prisma either. So he is in a great wee spot here with the fuse charges onto the cocktail window. It's going to pop. Is he going to find much of anything to run to skate away? It will be Bot falling, though, to kick the round off.
Yeah, not the kind of person that you want to see fall at the beginning of the round, given the sheer magnitude of the man and Worminator. The man, the myth, the legend, who had a bit of a slow beginning on the defense, but on the attack was able to find his footing rather well. I say that Sean does get a really nice swing onto User, gets another one. Sealy did not expect for the player to go for his shoes, for his ankles, and Worminator on the flank does a phenomenal job until Triss completely shuts him down.
The Uzi coming in. I mean, how many of these rounds are we seeing? We are entering the halfway mark of the round, and half the server is dead. It's just an extremely accelerated pace, and Triss, he's good for another at the moment. Phoenix falls, and it's down to Campo. Much like you, Age showing just a little bit. No, he's got some good numbers and a kill on Deshant to boot as well. 2 versus 1 here, advantage going the way of the Warriors, never mind. We're down to the 1 versus 1. Triss, he's found some big kills already. Can he do it again here to close out the round and extend the Warriors' run? A minute left in play and the tension rising in the round. Triss, he might have the angle to rotate
Actually,
through.
footballs.
This is huge.
Big.
He might find it, but Campo, he was looking. All he needs is a pixel. Can you win this, please? I need more kills. Phoenix wants more numbers. Unfortunately, 5 and 8, not the greatest scorelines, but look at that. Campo has just snuck himself deep into the site right now. He might have the long angle into the bathroom, overextending himself just a wee bit, but this is just insanity. Tucks himself into the corner. Triss just walking up on his position. Campo, he's going to pull off going into the final 30. The aggressive swing, he's underswung it, unfortunately.
Oh, he doesn't know.
That is absolutely huge. He has no idea Triss was there. He's overplayed his hand right now, so Triss might be able to walk on through. And just the bleed of time, he's not going to be able to force Campo off it again. So advantage now on the side of the attackers, Cthulhu. We head into the final 40, and both players are potentially only a couple of shots away, and they're going to meet Campo! He's done it! He's absolutely pulled it off!
Oh, Campo, and look, interesting, a rather questionable reaction from User, but well played by Team 7. A clean win, and yeah, that does leave Vodafone Warriors in a rather upset state, given that, well, they back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate that Triss couldn't do it there, but I mean, it's T7. They played their style, they played it well. Campo 10-3, which I think probably one of the best scorelines he's seen since the old Kanga days. But I mean, T7, this is what we expected out of them. They played their game. They did not shirk away from a fight.
Yeah, look, it was a clean deal, a clean play. And overall, I mean, yeah, Team 7 definitely managed to make it work pretty well in form of their aggression and the way how they coordinated themselves, and even in their ability to, you know, pull those comebacks from the number deficit. So overall, a team that definitely shaping itself up to be the next big kind of upset factor.
I mean, it just it presents itself an interesting prospect. As soon as some of these gunners hitting 18, what happens then? Of course, we have Sealy joining us though from Team 7. All right. Look, you come in today, you play a very aggressive game. Phoenix spent almost as much time outside as he did inside on the defense. I mean, is this you guys doing prep work for the Warriors, or is this you guys just playing your game?
No, we don't scrim or do any prep. It was just like confident gunfights. They didn't have Jordan Giraffe tonight, which I think is probably like their best mechanical player. So we were just confident gunfights. And Hunter is just confident to be better than everyone. So he gets out the building.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Gets a bit active.
Gets a bit proactive. Yeah, look, fair enough. I mean, look, you already guys managed to, get the better of Underground. You already managed to knock off Odium, now Warriors. Is there any other team that is remaining for us to see you play against that would pose a concern, or is it just more so not even caring about any sort of team, just caring about your own kind of confidence and performance on the day?
We're not really too worried about the people we verse. It's more just worrying about ourselves. If we come into the game, we're sharp, we're confident. I'm confident we can take the win. So it doesn't really matter who we verse.
Fair enough.
Now, look, it's great to see you guys, making sure that Campo feels relevant, feeding him those kills. But I mean, sort of explain it to us. I mean, you've got these 4 very cracked younger gunners. You've got Campo in. I mean, what is he sort of the age, the mentor of the team? What role does he sort of fill for you guys?
Well, Campo's still sharp. It's just more, he's got 4 idiots on his team who like playing fraggers. So he's the old man, so he gets put on support. He just needs to get support so something important gets done before he loses his mind.
Fair enough.
Play for his sanity.
He's just got to make sure that the round gets done. Whatever happens in the meantime doesn't really
matter. At least one wall's open.
But look, Sealy, it's great to have you in the interview booth again. Before we let you head off, anyone you'd like to shout out?
Again, shout out to Khan and Clutchy, the 2 people who play the first 2 games. Shout out to T7. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you again next week, mate. Hopefully, we'll have to see. It may not be the case, but I mean, look, it is what it is. I think Sealy perfectly summed it up. We've got 4 idiots fragging out. Campo's just there to make sure something gets open.
Yeah, look, I gotta commend that sort of approach, because it's their kind of effort to just not really get into their own heads, and that's a perfect way to really go about it. Don't overcomplicate your process. Keep it as simple as it can be, and just make sure you don't get tilted. And well, from there on, it's all kind of almost puts itself perfectly into the whole swing of things. So I gotta say, Team 7, yeah, once again showing a phenomenal performance, and I'm genuinely quite keen to see how will they perform for the remainder of the season.
I mean, keep it simple, stupid works for Team 7. When we come back after the break, though, Underground Esports Club versus Antics. I don't think it's going to be anything remotely close to simple. When we come back after the break, we jump on into our final match of the evening. We'll see you.
なぜいつもここに来るんですか？フルーツならデリバリーもできます。お金もあるんですし。
金持ちはただ待っていると？私をそんな風に見ていたのか。
いえ、でもここは人が多すぎます。
お前は信頼できる子だが、少し肩の力を抜いたらどうだ。でないと大切なものを見落としてしまうぞ。この果物とかね。これを一つ。ヒロ、どうした？震えている。
セテ！
お！
ここに。
私の家に忍び込むなんて自殺願望でもあるの？
久しぶり、ユミコ。八幡さんが。
ええ。話は聞いたわ。
見覚えは？手伝ってもらう。仇は必ず撃つ。
Hello and welcome back from the break, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming into our final match of the day. Antic R6 versus Underground Esports Club. And these guys are playing, I mean, you just have to look at Owen and his peripheral setup. And if you want a peripheral setup similar to his, check out the Rocket Cone XP gaming mouse. There are 15 different button combinations with 29 different, programmable functions. I mean, vault into a window, repel, grenade, gadget, everything on your mouse.
Exactly.
I mean, you could even set up movements on your mouse if you're keen.
Hey, I mean, certain mice do allow that very thing, and
100% Owen's done that at least once.
100%. Eventually, Owen would play just on the mouse. But look, I mean, definitely a peripheral choice is certainly the key for the winning. So definitely do make sure to check out our friends over at Rocat. But look, I mean, Panda, we've had already an absolute banger of the series. We just witnessed an absolutely stunner of a play, and. Look, even stunners have been pulled even on the socials, I believe.
Yeah, we got a banger tweet coming in apparently from our competition from Coach Proman himself. His favourite operator is Blackbeard because he can't win a fair gunfight. Understandable, we've seen it in play. He's no slouch when it comes to that. So you still got that opportunity. Make sure you tweet in. The winner will be announced at the end of the broadcast. And we are going to be heading into their matchup as well. It's going to be an interesting one. Underground Esports Club and Antic R6. Two teams, bit of volatility, bit of success. Antic, I mean, they're right up there with them.
Yeah, look, absolutely. Antic have managed to show us some quite interesting matchups, and by interesting I mean the fact that they have managed to show us a complete kind of 180 from their initial form at the beginning of the stage, at the beginning of the year, where they were just struggling all over the place. Can't hit their shots, can't hit their strats, can't hit the chemistry either, and all of a sudden Wazoo gets put onto the flank play role and he just absolutely goes ballistic. The rest of the team follows suit and they go absolutely huge. On the side of Underground, a team that we didn't expect to perform the way how they've done, but they were showing us some out of this reality kind of plays.
Well, let's get on to the matchup. Of course, our two teams playing up first. It is Antic Esports, Japer, Karma, Owen, River, and Face Cream stepping in to replace Nasty tonight. And look, it's a shame Nasty isn't playing because that is probably how you best describe this lineup.
Yeah, look, absolutely. A team that was able to show us a really solid set of performances, a good amount of coordination when they do feel it. And that is a really big kind of extra note, as long as they keep their minds in the game, as long as they have their kind of morale up there, they're unstoppable. The moment any sort of hints at the tilt starts creeping in, this is where the problems might start compounding.
And their opponents, of course, Underground Esports Club, diamonds in the rough, as it were, much living up to their name coming into this competition. Pink, MML, Zuve, Eraser, and JPK. The last two were absolutely massive last week. I mean, Eraser, by round 3, 9-0 on the LMG, on the Zofia. He was surgical.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The man has been just an absolute machine when it came down to any sort of fragging, whether it's on defense or on offense. And JPK, yeah, a monster on the roam. So honestly, yeah, I'm quite curious to see whether Antic would be able to shut things down over at the Underground's camp, or whether it will be just Underground trundling over yet another Tier 2 team.
Well, to give us a best indication of whether or not either of those cases may come into reality, let's have a look at our head-to-head. Two players that are probably going to have the biggest impact on the match. Of course, it is Jason Japer Mercer for Antic, who may not necessarily play for that team in regular season, but is standing in as a sub now, and Kala is Razor Alexander. I mean, both these players are insane fraggers. Oh yeah, absolutely. And if they find their stride, find their momentum in this match, they could dictate the pace of every single round.
Yeah, in the context of this very matchup, as a matter of fact, I definitely would think that basically whichever team has a much bigger of a performer in regards to fragging player, whether it's either Japer or Eraser, this is where we could be seeing a really strong performance.
Well, let's get onto the map vetoes and see where our final map is going to be tonight. Bank Cafe banned out immediately. Villa Theme Park, Chalet, Skyscraper, Border, and Oregon. So we go to Clubhouse. It is one of the ANZ trio, the ANZ staples. It's Oregon, Clubhouse, and Villa. Unfortunately, fortunately, we only have to go to one of them tonight. It's Clubhouse, of course. And look, again, this is a map that has played well for both teams. Who's it going to play out best for tonight, do you reckon?
I'm tempted to incline towards Underground, actually. I mean, we talk about, say, even their very first week, their very first appearance in LPL Pro, playday number 1 against 1620 Kings. They took them to Clubhouse, where we talked about, oh yeah, back to basics, oh yeah, 1620 Kings should be knowledgeable. It was a 7-3, Panda. It was a clear domination, oddly enough, on the attack for Underground. It was a 4-round win, 4-2 scoreline in their hands, and then they managed to wrap it all up in a 3-pointer. Very dominant one whilst at it, not leaving a whole lot of choices for 1620 Kings, whereas then we talk about Skyscraper. Again, Underground just played into the fact that nobody really prepared a whole lot of Skyscraper, bar, again, somebody like Antic, so they would have preferred to keep that away. We'll look back at Team 7's. Look, Chalet, we discard that. Chalet is definitely not their strong point, and then last week they just wrapped it all up on Oregon. So it seems like the general kind of swing of things is that as long as we're keeping this to a somewhat of a standardized map pool of Clubhouse, Oregon, maybe even sprinkle later down the line a little bit of Cafe, definitely not Chalet though, and some of the newer maps like Skyscraper. This is where they kind of find their own footings. Map like Villa may pose a little bit of a problem. Maybe, well, again, Chalet, something that they would prefer to avoid, but again, that's more so just generally speaking about Team 7, but those already finished their own matchup. For Antic, look, it's a bit of a weird one because Antic managed to show us a good, fun match on Theme Park. They managed to show us a good kind of, generally speaking, performance against Odium on Villa. So those very expanded, very open-minded, open area maps would be the ones to, help Antic in general swing of things. But coming to Clubhouse, Antic, oddly enough, back in playday number 1, lost it to Zelios. So maybe this was a kind of a sane, or not sane idea, but more so a calculated idea from Underground to try to push this onto Clubhouse and maybe play for that statistic, or maybe it's just more so just the idea of them feeling confident about Clubhouse, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for Antic this week is so far Underground have been the Titan killers. They don't want that to happen tonight. But we've got another tweet apparently to come up and have a look at. Of course, it's who's also playing this, and his favourite operator is Alibi because the gun shoots very fast. Understandable, it's the MX4 Storm, it's called that for a reason.
Yeah, look, understandable, yeah, look, fair enough, and look, a nice and simple kind of response there, albeit I'd still probably rate Owen's reasoning as it's a little bit more, you know, relatable, even to myself, you know. Gotta take all the advantages that you can take.
I mean, Cultures as well. His tweet was pretty good. Unfortunately,
Culture's tweet was pretty
they
good.
banned out the Finker, and then Shant still stepped up anyway. So whether the validity is there for his comments or not, we don't know. But I mean, we going to
you don't think he has the facilities for that?
No, I think he he relies too much on the Finker. He crutches on it too much, and his team said, well, if you can't play with the crutch, what's the point? And they went and played it. And unfortunately, we are having some more technical issues on the game side, so we'll be throwing it to a break. When we come back, we'll look to jump on into Clubhouse. We'll see you back soon. Hello and welcome back from the break. Cthulhu, we're about to jump on into the matchup, of course, Antic versus Underground Esports Club. And look, let's be honest, we know what needs to be done here for Antic to pick up the win. It's pretty simple. Throw the script out. We're going to be going to Clubhouse. Let's get on into the map. Forget about previous results. Antic are here. They're playing now, so they need to focus on that. They can't be looking back. They need to look forward.
Absolutely, look, and that is going to be the exact outlook that they will need to adapt here should they pick up the dub. But I mean, look, the lineup that they have brought in has plenty of potential, plenty of possibility, as long as they, you know, stay on top of their game, stay hydrated, and they should be all fine. Underground, the team that has been rather deadly, and given the fact that there's, prior to some of the more recent matches, there hasn't been a whole lot of information on how to play against them, kind of ended up putting a number of teams into a bit of a, well, question mark as to, well, how do we counter them? It was the only team that had so far the answer for that very question seemed to have been Team 7, who's already on their own kind of set of swing of things, but Thatcher is the first one to be banned out by Antic, as they just flat out don't want to deal with that operator in any shape or form, whether it's from Underground, whether it's from any other team, and understandably so. Well, with him out of the equation, things will be a little bit more difficult. Jackal, on the side of Underground, they fully acknowledge how powerful and how painful he was to deal with back on Chalet, and he was one of the operators that managed to dislodge the defense of Underground back in those days.
The double Spaniard duo banned from Underground. I begin to wonder if maybe the game plan when it comes to Underground Esports Club is the same game plan that everyone in the Nationals League took against Bliss, which was wait till we go to playoffs in the best-of-3 format, because unfortunately it didn't work for them. Maybe it's the same case for Underground. They are a team who I would imagine doesn't have a heck of a lot of experience in the best-of-3 format.
Yeah, true. That's one way to really put it. Curious how will this match really perform, given that, yeah, look, Antic going into this with the defensive side, introducing the pulse for Owen. Rather quite curious, but what I am very much happy to see, Face Cream back on the Wamai shenanigans. He was known to be quite a fiend when it came down to MP5K with some magnification scopes. So that said, he could make things quite spicy, all things considered.
I mean, on top of that, you've also got Jafer picking up the Mozzie and Karma on the elevator. So there are some insane fragability potentials for this team right now. And yeah, look, Owen or Oa, I'm not sure how I feel about that one. We'll have to have a chat with FaZe Cream if they pick up the win here. And oh dear, MML, he might be muted.
Oh boy, that's not good, no? Not good.
5 seconds remaining.
I don't know if we can call that one banter, but hey.
Look, well, I suppose we'll have to wait and see how it will all go. But curious how will the beginning will start. Will I say curious? And well, we did get the answer straight off the bat. Karma giving a little bit of the medicine back to UG, getting the better of Eraser, the person that we have.
Oh my God!
Karma for double already, as a matter of fact, off to a heater of a round.
I think we may have found the way to deal with Underground Esports, which is just embrace the monkey in a way that no other team has done. Just add it to your DNA. Karma, he almost finds 3. Unfortunately, the lineup not going to be there, but Rivers, oh my God, Japer from Oil Pit as well. It's all coming apart for Underground in the first round. Pinku, he's on the fuse. We didn't even take notice of the fact because the rest of the team was just crumbling under the pressure. And Japer, he's not done yet. And okay, no, it wasn't Oil Pit, it was from Rafters.
Jeez, I mean, that's one hell of a way to really go for it. But on the other hand, Pinku is able to make things nice and smoother there with the sheer abundance of the pre-fires. But as it stands, only those 2 finishes were the only things that really came to fruition there. Japer has the angle onto the exit from that supply room, so could really shut things down for the fuse, but the LMG duo could be, well, possible LMG duo could have been there if Pinku would have picked the Russian LMG. As it stands, UG are still in quite a bit of a pickle, but they managed to tone things down to make it a little bit more livable for themselves.
I mean, to be fair, the AK is a pretty potent weapon at the best of times. I mean, we saw Campo going off on it in the ace. I have, we've already seen Pinku find, well, 1.5. One was a kill, one was an assist. A minute left in play, the 3 versus 2, and JPK going to be tagged up a little bit there as Japer gets himself into garage, another nano boost to come through. But, I mean, Owen on the pulse could be feeding so much information to the team.
Yeah. Pulse could get rather nasty here. Pay a tribute to the teammate as well by Owen, but still one more Pinku boost. Still a few more breaches to be done, and Pinku makes you work off those hatches rather well. but surely the cardiac sensor should be there confirming. In comes the swing. He's very comfortable. In comes the pre-fire. Perfect read, and oh no, there's the jump down, and already Pinku goes in for the swing.
Looking for pre-fires, but it's met with resistance from River, and the number game has to come into play here. Pinku takes some big damage, massive damage in fact, and Japer steps up, finds the kill, and Tick will steal the first round away from Underground Esports.
I'm not gonna lie, Pinku did hit a little bit of that bot walk by the conclusion of it all, just trying to tank it all, just saying, you can kill me, but well, certainly yes, they can.
Like the first boss in any video game, he's fallen, and it wasn't that hard if we're being honest with ourselves.
Albeit, look, it did get taken to a rather closer player count, but ANZ I still feel had it all relatively well entrusted. I am still a little bit curious about that pre-fire on the main staircase, because assumption... face screen. Okay, GM.
Okay, so I'm
Assuming
imagining...
it's the skin issue.
Yeah, I'd have to imagine that, or Owen is flexing on the fact that he is the only shotgun player. I'm on cams.
Yeah, all right. I mean, look, if that's the strat that he still provides all the info, I mean, yeah, why not? But why smoke out of all the ops?
It's not something that we see Face Cream play a lot of, so I would imagine it is a skin issue. But right now, there is potential for that to be, well, a significant detriment to Antic 6.
I mean, it could be. I doubt it will be completely of a problem. So, I mean, going further into the rest of the round, not the rest of the matchup, just the round, we might be seeing a few problems here. I say that though, Karma wants a really up close and personal contention, so he gets a little bit extra, you know, on the play. But yeah, MML finding the kill on Takama does make things a little bit more snappier for.
I thought Face Cream was on cams. The default was up, buddy. Look, you can't be doing that. And yeah, unfortunately, the player who well and truly opened that round for Antic in the first, now dead alongside one of the voices of stability, of maturity on the team. Owen now having to pick up a significant portion of control in cash. Will rotate himself out, and it's understandable given the situation they find themselves. Oh, Japer go! What a headshot!
Perfect lineup and a perfect time to really go for that jump out. The drone even was there on him. That is the funniest part of it all. And while Underground still weren't able to counter it in any shape or form, the perfect timing there for the jump out. Well, we'll be keeping the player count while still in the hands of Underground. It will make them falter for a little bit longer, which means, well, just a little bit of that extra time for buffer before the actual push commences.
Upside down rappel onto the gym window. Japer, can he get the nitro back? He will, successfully. And it's just a bit of a jiggle. He's going to go for the reattempt. Out the window. No, unfortunately, not quite close enough. Just missing out by millimeters. And unfortunately, MML in construction with the long angle. No, Cash with the long angle is going to find the kill. Reduce it. Wow, what a pre-fire from Zuve. Making it even worse still. Wow, okay, never mind. Owen's on the job. Big kill.
Oh, that was unfortunate.
That was a mess of a round end.
Peeking basically the tower. Rather unfortunate there for Owen, but for Underground, they managed to equalize the scoreline rather early, possibly starting their own string of rounds. So I'll have to wait and see if there's going to be any sort of continuation, any sort of play, any sort of, performance continuation for Underground, given that it was a relatively okay play, but, you know, a few hiccups here and there did result in some rather problematic results. Thankfully, this time it will be a 5v5 coming out from Antic, because I genuinely think that if it would have been a 5v5 from the get-go, I reckon it would be a completely different result.
Oh, 100%. That would have been a vastly different story. But, I mean, Japer's investment so far this map cannot be understated. Yeah, it's still 1-1 and we're only going to round 3, but I mean that aggressive jump out onto the Hibana, every single move that they're making is a terrifying one. I'm keen to see what Antic do on the re-attempt now with 5 in play.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah. Well, it is understandable that they decided to also repick the site. So there are certainly some good possibilities to play for that. Karma back on his own stuff, on his own shenanigans, could do a whole great deal of work there, but again, we'll need to be very cautious and very snappy on his performance if he wants to find that early advantage. Unfortunately for him, already the rafters are about to be soon to be taken, albeit Japer should still have the position, but I believe JPK already spotted him, which could be rather problematic. And well, later down the line, in comes the push, in comes the swing. Ripper finds one, no frag from Japer, as the man unfortunately whiffs his shots.
Well, Face Cream finally on the board as well as he drops MML. So not only is your soft breach, the buck gone for a Razor, but the Nomad in the hands of MML removed as well. And I mean, Cthulhu, given the trajectory of the season, I will be honest, I didn't expect Antic to be coming in swinging the way they are.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Antic, they kind of realized that at this point it's just more so a better idea to just keep on going for the swings, keep on almost tending that almost a ranked play style, and understandably so, it has been so far working out pretty well. I mean, Owen has been nailing absolute just bangers of a performance with the SMG-11. Unfortunately, same can't be said about Karma, but in a 2v4, this is very much workable for Antic, and that early frag advantage on the defense should be pretty much well and truly used and abused here.
Oh, coming up red, Face Cream has the opportunity, and Pinku overstays his welcome on the stairs, strangely enough, but either way, it's a death for him. JPK alone, pushing in through CCTV. Long angle from the Condor, impact at his feet, and it's the shotgun from Owen to close it out, and the tactical teabag to come through in the kill cam.
And now, gotta check your crouch button, because sometimes, the keyboard ghosting and all of that.
Well, I mean, he makes his own keyboards as well, so you got to test
it. You gotta test your own products, yeah, absolutely. Understandably so. Look, for Underground, kind of a bit of a look of concern there, given that, well, things are not going as planned as they probably would have wanted. On the side of Antic, though, look, it's all smiles, it's all happy times.
How many rounds of Blackbeard do we get this man?
That's a really good point. I am, though, curious, yeah, if even Blackbeard is even going to be considered.
Oh, like Face Cream said in the post-match, he just makes it work.
True. It just works. It just works.
Oh dear, what a match. I mean, Antic have yet to fail to put on a show. Like, they are just content week in, week out.
I mean, that's the beauty of how they have been kind of setting themselves up for the general kind of storyline during even the interviews. They're just here to have fun. As long as they're having fun, they are performing. So, understandably here, look, against Underground, fun is probably going to be the only way about this sort of matchup. As long as they're able to get those swings in, that's where they hit the money shots.
Oh, Japer, he's looking to hit a money shot of his own. That garage door, not going to be popped just yet. He's waiting with the Nitro cell, but Underground Esports, don't seem to want a bar of it, but a Razor, he is going to pop the door. He's not going to get too close to it though. Nade cooked. They must have had some info on Japer there. They almost take him out. Nitro in response, not going to connect onto anything. And Zuvat, yeah, feeding that information through.
Understandably, fourth round in a row, one would have hoped that the Underground wouldn't fall for this kind of blunder. So let's see if any sort of change in the playstyle will be done here by JPK and co. Because, well, come on, you can jump over. There you go. Managed to find the space button there, and well, in we go for the push for the top down clear. But funnily enough, well, all of that presence on the top floor has been completely all well, left out. Question being is whether the drones will be able to spot Face Cream. Did he get spotted? Does he get found? No, he wasn't. That's
my
perfect
God.
timing. But there is actually a menace coming in from the strip club. This could be a problem. Oh,
A deviant right-hand side, and Face Cream's good for it. Karma as well finds another. Underground Esports are floundering.
Finally, they do find the return on form by Peace Scream. No! Oh, and you cannot do that to JPK! Another swing!
Oh my god!
Oh lord, all the damage, all the carnage. Antic are in their form. They're in the sauce.
The humanity! Underground Esports Club are being dismantled round upon round, kill by kill, and it is because Antic are getting aggressive up in their face, and you can see the blank looks, the stares, the vacant looks as a result of a 3-1 deficit right now.
Oh no, that was unfortunate there for Underground. The hopes and chances were certainly there, and look, I gotta still say I don't think this is over. As a matter of fact, far from it, but it does show rather some good signs of life from Antic on the side of Underground. We were talking about this. They already claimed a number of names from the National League, from the Challenger League. The only names that they haven't claimed is their opponents from the Tier 3 sides of, well, the Evo days. And I believe the rehost has actually been called in. So, look, on the side of Antic so far, this may work as a bit of a kind of a talking point to, well, what do we do here? How do we play it out? What needs to be changed? Because it seems like Underground are starting to slowly but surely nail and kind of find the pattern in the shenanigans that they have been bringing out, or rather, how deep into the shenanigans book do they have to dig?
It feels like Underground Esports Club are just 2 steps behind. Every single turn, they are just too far back to actively contest. And I think it's again, Antic aren't going too deep into the strategy side of things.
Oh, no.
They're just playing the game raw.
No, I'm not talking about the strategy. Surely there's a completely different kind of side of the strategy book called just the shenanigans book, where it's just pocket strats, almost like a strat roulette.
Every single one of them put together by Owen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like him and his canal strats that he has.
Well, regardless of that, there's still plenty of opportunities for the memes, plenty of opportunities for the hidden plays. But on the side of Underground, look, I mean, I gotta say, things been a little bit just all over the place. Is probably the only way to call it, because on the side of the mechanical play, it's been okay. They have been trying to play into each other's performances, but we haven't really seen a whole lot of coordination. It's been kind of feeding into those gunfights, into those 1v1s rather than 1vx's, like they previously done, like they've had with say some of the other teams, like Onami as well. I mean, that's probably the best way to, or rather the best match to really call for those kind of trades that they've been introducing. Here, it is kind of just all over the place.
Well, I mean, it's the difference between Underground Esports Club are used to being the ones dictating the pace. You look at Pinku, he's pushing in, MML, Eraser, someone is going in, opening up the the map for the rest of the team, whereas what we're seeing from Antic, they aren't giving them that opportunity. They are aggressively up in the face of Underground Esports Club. And I mean, I suppose it comes down to it being a map like Clubhouse. There are buffer rooms in play between the site and a general entrance from attacking team. What we usually see is, lines are drawn, especially consider a gym bedroom defense. You're looking at the extension over towards top red, that's about it. And then maybe a lurker or 2 downstairs. What we're seeing is pressure all the way into the garage. They are right up at that precipice of the entry into the building.
Right at the entry, yeah, exactly. Yeah, look, that entry play certainly has allowed them to dictate the pace a little bit more thoroughly. And Underground, they've talked about it a couple of times when we, asked them, well, what was the idea? What was the approach to it? It's just, well, play it as if we're playing ranked and just make sure that our coordination is there. The moment that coordination falls apart, though, this is where it kind of all crumbles. I am, though, quite curious as to at which point do we get the call within Antic, camp saying, okay, it's time for us to go for the finisher, and just all of the players, even whoever was, sitting around the site, just to go into like full-on just hunting mode and just completely go play complete like a team deathmatch kind of game mode.
I mean, honestly, they are what, 2 rounds away from a 5-1 half. So honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if they start going for the throat. I mean, they're going for the throat now, as it is. I mean, you look at the setup, you look at Karma consistently looking for the opening picks in aggressive positions. Japer right there alongside him. And I think it's the power of, you know, the initial lineup, you know, Owen, River, Face Cream, and Karma, who's come in as, you know, a bit of he's a sub LPL pro until he turns 18 and can join the Challenger League. And paired with Japer. So not only have you got those incredibly good fraggers, you got, you know, Karma, who's absolutely insane. You've got Owen, who backs himself. Whether he's insane in a different way, we have yet to sort of figure that one out. But he's capable. We know he's incredibly capable. And then you've got River and Face Cream, good at side anchoring. They know their jobs. They can hold it down. And then you throw Japer, who probably one of the best fraggers competitively out of the Challenger League at the moment. Not top 3, but easily in the top 5.
Oh, yeah.
And so when they pair it with, it all comes together in this perfect mesh, and it's working. Underground don't know what to do.
Exactly that, yeah, look, it's probably the best way to really describe how it all so far went, but the main task here for Antic is to not let off right now on the defensive side. They need to build as much of that momentum, as much of that buffer as possible. 4-2 would be kind of just bordering okay-ish. 5-1 will be the ideal scenario here, and well, 2 more rounds for them to do so. They could certainly do it, but can't discredit Underground just yet, because Underground have managed to fight back. They've managed to show us some really good performances, and they still, in the same vein how Antic have 2 more chances to make this a 5-1, Underground have 2 more chances to make it a 3-3, and if they do manage to make it work on their own defense, I reckon they will be rather difficult to deal with by Antic. So it is going to be for Antic, I would say, a game of, well, generating a buffer.
Yeah, here in the 5th, of course, the opportunity is there to close it out. And I mean, like we said, I mean, foot is on the throat right now.
Absolutely.
Antic have themselves in the driving seat. Underground, I mean, I wouldn't even say they're in the back seat. It feels like they're being drugged behind the vehicle at this point.
I mean, yeah, to a certain degree it is like that, but I'm more so just curious.
Well, I mean, it's telling that the 1 round they lost is the 1 round they had to team kill Face Cream.
Well, yeah, true, yes. But it was off the back of a relatively well-pressured kind of attack towards the CCTV, towards the cache, and then, well, pressuring the construction site as well. But
come on, buddy. Come on, buddy! Free kill, MML down, no more flank watch.
Good night. That's a huge, huge frag. Yeah, no more Nomad, no more of those air jabs, meaning, well, yeah, flank watch is
Owen is just waiting. He's like, come on, pop it, let me go. Nitro cell ready. Oh, okay, he copped a bit of damage through the drone hole.
Oh, that was through the with the Gon 6, because they're clearing out the ADSs there as well. So this is big, forcing him to off that position. But nobody's actually watching the drone hole, which still could be rather big. Surely Owen goes in. Surely Owen swings.
Now they're going to look for the Nitro Cell JPK down courtesy of Face Cream. And that is aggressive. Karma will be shut down by Pinku watching the angle, and Owen going to be forced out as he was droned as well. Has to play a little bit more reserve, but they've still got 2 Nitro Cells in play. Oh, Face Cream, buddy. If he makes... Oh, no, Pinku's running towards his position. This could be deadly. He's got to hit his shots. He's going to swing out. Well, Pinku has his number. We're back in a 3-3.
Pinku read into that play really, really well. Another pre-fire. Oh, yeah, Japer, you have to be very careful, buddy. You're being droned out so thoroughly at this point, and Zuve is just kind of sweating bullets really there, with just trying to figure out where to shoot, where to pre-fire. Nope, the drone position is not there. Nope, that didn't work either. So far, though, good time drain. I mean, only a minute remaining, and UG might need to start, you know, pushing even further. Frag grenade out, perfectly lands under River's feet, and, well, all of a sudden, player advantage in the hands of UG.
Yeah, but unfortunate there. Japer still holding things down from rafters, going into the final 45. There is still the Nitro of Owen as well in play. He's looking for angles. He's looking for anything. And you can just see primed on the door. The swinger Razor's going to be tagged with Zuve on the breach to leave it down to Coach Owen. It's looking like Underground Esports Club are going to be good for a second, and Owen almost spots the pixel. He does have the Nitro from Cash. He could do some real damage with it if he lines it up. He's going to step high. Eraser tagged heavy, but it's a push into the site itself. They're going to pop that wall. The Nitro is there, just dangling around the corner. He's going to push, but Zube is watching the cross, and Underground will get themselves the second.
Well, UG, off the back of good return to form, managing to make it work is certainly good. But yeah, look, there's still a little bit of a concern, a little bit of that. Well, is it finally our time? Is it finally our time to frag? Are we there yet? Well, certainly the answer is not there yet. Not yet. Still one more chance for Antic to make it a 4-2 scoreline, because a 3-3 would be rather devastating, especially off the back of just how many good dominant rounds that they've had when they managed to initially dislodge. But it's the late game that so far has been not particularly good. They've been almost over-leaning into that whole kind of run-out play, and certainly by this point, Underground would start reading into all these positions, and we need to be a little bit more careful and a little bit more cautious in the first stages of the round.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate that Face Cream was droned out along the way. He was run out from Strip. But, no, I mean, look, it is what it is. Underground adapting where they need to. Gym Bedroom going to be the final bomb site of the half. And, well, last time we were here, well, actually, no, at the moment, it's a one apiece for each team. No, keeping in mind, yeah, 4 versus 5.
That was the one where it was the 4v5. Yeah, understandably so. Underground, one more chance to even out the scoreline, to completely erase all of their previous mistakes and go into their own defense with a possibility of just a really new clean slate. On the side of Antic, one more chance to push for their own point advantage. And if they do manage to make it work, this would help them in a very huge way, and allow themselves to keep on, well, having a few of those, a little bit of trolling moments, you could call it that.
Already Eraser on the job with the breaching torch. Wants to get that nice opening into CCTV. Japer spots it, so they know that torch is going to work. He's going to tuck himself into CCTV, look for an angle. Right now, Underground, it's still a very reserved approach. They aren't as aggressive as we've seen them previously. And, well, right now they're doing, oh, that could have been a huge nade onto Japer.
Absolutely. Japer could have done quite a fair bit of, well, copied rather, a fair bit of damage. But this time, actually, understandably enough, the Antic players do try to steer away from that breachable floor of the Cache after quite an explosive turnout in the previous round. Oh, Karma knows exactly where the opponent is, but the angle is just too unfavorable for him, and he needs to overextend in a very uncomfortable way. So Pinko is able to, well, attack him just about enough to force the Alibi player out of that position. That could be a problem, though. The moment those breaches start coming in, this could be a big issue.
Well, Face Cream was looking for something potentially. Sitting down below, they have Jacuzzi Wall open, which is a start for Underground Esports. A couple of rotations here and there for the team looking to get themselves into a better spot, but Underground, they've taken some great positioning, and Japer, unfortunately, not going to find much of anything there. Pops the Nitro, but it was in the wrong direction. Eraser on the drones the entire time. That could have been such a free kill.
Could have been big. Could have been huge. Unfortunately, it didn't come to the exact result that one would have wanted, and the tight angle by Pinku shuts things down. Oh, Face Cream. Oh, Face Cream, gotta be careful, buddy. Owen does get the better of JPK, but already the damage has been dealt. No more of your Romas, no more of Japer as well. You're locked into just the site, and Karma needs to do a whole lot of work. So is River. Big opener onto Eraser to even out the scoreline. Another one.
Oh, Karma!
Big from Karma, but can't really find the closure there onto Zuve. It's still a 1v2. Could he make this a 1v1, though? That is a big question. 8 seconds to go.
No, there's nothing to do with it. Coach Bronwyn, he's on the floor to make it happen. A 4-2 half for Antic. They had us there in the beginning. They did. They had us there for a moment. But, I mean, Karma is just on another level.
Built differently, that man is, and whew, I mean, what a way to make it a 4-2 score. And Antic do make it in their favor. Now a 2-point buffer in their hands. They are the ones now to be on the offense. Now, we know how painful it can be to verse UG when they're on defense. We know how dangerous they can be, especially on their run-out game. Can UG make it work? Can they match the sort of chaotic energy here against Antic? Or will it be just Antic show through and through, even on their attack, is probably going to be my, well, main question here for the second half, given just how well so far things been looking up for the Challenger League roster.
I mean, they did say Stage 2, Karma in his debut in CL. Honestly,
I dig it.
the other CL teams maybe need to be a little bit concerned. Just because they finished second from the bottom, Stage 1, does not mean that that is an indication of Stage 2.
And I think, yeah, it is going to be kind of the big storyline going into the next few stages of this whole year, just purely for the fact that out of all the rosters that have flogged out on their first appearance in 2022, Antic are a team that could certainly just be the team that took their time to warm up, took their time to get back into the swing of things, and now with the introduction of Karma later down the line, it could be big.
Oh my.
Ray's already out, and so much damage onto MML.
Owen, he's not just a coach anymore. He is a staple.
He's a menace
of the Tier 2 community. He is a menace. He is 100% a menace. And, well, unfortunately, Eraser is, or he's going to be the one to suffer. Face Cream wants to go and down deep through the basement. He could find some real traction there.
Could be big. With the Razor out of the equation, things will be looking a little bit more dicey already. Another breach coming around. Antic not really wasting their time at all. Already 2 breaches within the first minute. Already looking to find the openings. No, Japer being let off the hook here is kind of huge, but unfortunately for JPK, couldn't find the finisher shot. Just 1 or 2 more shots and that would have been the end of it all. But look at just the sheer abundance of the avenues that Antic are taking.
I mean, look at the health disparity. I mean, you've got 4 overstim players plus Japer, who is rapidly regaining health, and then you've got MML and Pinku, who are stuck as they are until they either die or the round ends. A minute 8 remaining, and already Antic are doing the hard yards and getting themselves set up for this push. River going to take a bit of damage. Unfortunately, again, for Underground Esports, it's minimal with that nano boost in play.
Face Cream already taking an unfortunate L there to the hands of JPK to make it a 4-4, but a push from Karma could be big. Does he know about the presence? Jape already finding the kill onto MML. No, completely unaware about the presence around the master bedroom. Mate, you could be fragged out there, but no, Karma has, or River rather, has his number. Oh, Zuve also fogs it all out. It is all Antic here.
JPK wants his turn. He's going to get the down and the kill onto River, but the post plant is in effect, and they've got not just Japer looking to hold the angle. He's dead, unfortunately. JPK cracked on the 6 of the MX4, but they have the Osa in play with the shield. Pre-fires need to be crisp here. JPK needs to rip 2 heads clean off. That's not even counting. Karma swinging aggressively on the Osa, no less. Just tucks in by the bed and says, "Good night, sweet prince." And Cthulhu, Antic are primed to take first place.
I love this. I love this so far from Antic. This is a great time for them to bring that sort of energy, bring that sort of momentum. I mean, that attack, from beginning of Owen opening up through the drone hole to Karma just on Osa, on the 556XI, being just a menace swinging like this. And Japer also being granted what basically was a second chance, allowed him to find his own frag. So this so far, I hate to be that person to call this early, but I'm thinking tilt factor is starting to slowly but surely creep into the ranks of Underground.
Antic R6 truly started from the bottom. Now we're here, 2 rounds away from first. It's not in CL, but you'll take it. You'll take first in LPL Pro any day of the week, especially for Antic, who have been battling to prove themselves this year. 2 rounds away, Cthulhu. They might just deny Underground any chance of drawing this out.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is so far been a kind of nuts of a turnout here. the matchup that I expected to be a bit of a slugfest, not gonna lie. Given the sheer results, that is... Wait, you can't even...
I
Surely
know
not.
there was an angle that you could get it to work, but I think they may have patched it out, yeah. It
You
was
have to climb on top of the... You can climb up on top of the music box still, to place it on top of the wall, but it seems like actually the idea is for the camera to actually have an extra viewing point onto the blue stairs, which isn't a bad idea either. So far, I mean, we're starting to dig a little bit deeper into the strat book of Underground, as they want to obviously get back into their own swing of things. But with the round differential being pushed now to a 3-pointer, it is going to be quite still a tall road, a tall order.
Cam taken out there by Face Cream. I believe it probably will have been spotted, but look at the angles that he's trying to find for himself. Looking to hold down the angle. Unfortunately, it was Japer that was there. I mean, look at it. The entirety Underground down on the bottom floor. Cthulhu, there's not a single Nitro cell in play. There's 6 impacts. They are looking to try and impact trick the living hell out of that kitchen hatch. But Japer's already bottom main stairs.
Oh, this could be dangerous. Already pre-aimed at that position. Would have been big. Frag grenade out. Ay, 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 ay. That gets caught in the magnet as well. Perfect, though, ability to completely shut down the Melusi charge as well, but Japer unfortunately uses up the last of his frag
It got
grenades.
eaten by the first nade. It got blown up by the Where My Magnet. And unfortunately for Japer, though, JPK will take him out with a ripper of a headshot. The MX4 Storm goes hard. Karma wants to find the opportunity, though, to get down blue. They're going to start to try and open that kitchen hatch. No, well, okay, sorry. Razor went for the impact trick there. Went for both of them. And I don't know if it was successful at the end of the day. Another bit of utility cleared out by Karma going into the final minute. This could be a truly terrifying prospect. Zube catches out Karma, rotating towards Oil Pit. And, well, Underground might have given themselves the reprieve they need with the Razor as well, taking out Face Cream.
Bomb located by attackers.
Huge opener, albeit Owen is still being able to find at least one of the refrags, so at least it's not the flawless result. But Antic are being faced with a rather dire situation in all shape and form, given that they lost the majority of their players, they lost the majority of their time, 24 seconds to go, and they need to find, well, 4 frags. So it will either be an absolute fragging fiesta, or they're going to get shut down right at the beginning of it all. Crossfires galore, it is all falling apart, and yeah, River, not enough health, not enough ammo, and not enough time.
Underground keep themselves in it a little bit longer, 5-3. So there's only 2 rounds difference currently going into the 9th. Bit shaky, but I mean, Cthulhu, again, the way Rainbow Six competitive works, if you win a bomb site, it's locked out for the next 2, which does not bode amazingly well for Underground.
Yeah, look, I mean, Underground could still bring this back, and I mean, we've talked about, you know, the play for endurance. Quite possibly that could be the play here for them. Maybe they could revive themselves going into this, because I believe we're still yet to see a tactical pause from either one of the rosters. Apart from that, one technical pause for the rehost, we could possibly see Underground, you know, once they lose out and Antic push to, say, for example, to a match point within this round, we could see Underground call it in, say, yo, we need to revive our mental, or try to at least get back into some form of swing of things. And kind of from there on, it could be an interesting result later down the line. The funny thing is, to me, though, after the whole rehost, obviously all the stats got reset as well. It doesn't really look too pretty for either Face Cream or Japer, given their achievements in the first half.
Yeah, look, I think we've done Japer a little bit dirty with the rehost. Face Cream, he's never been one of the standout fraggers for the team. He's always been the one in the back. I mean, discounting stage 3 last year, obviously, and their magic run that they had at the start. But right now, Gym Bedroom, the site of choice, already having lost it once, and Japer on the Iana is looking for big info. If he gets shot out here at storage, I think he may have even spotted JPK by stage.
Could have been big if he does spot the man there, but now actually doubling down for a push from down below. Space Cream looking to make an entry. Karma already taking quite a fair bit of damage. Wouldn't be particularly feeling too good, but
I believe that was from the impacts of either MML or Pinku with the shield, so
I see.
The fact that he only took that much damage is pretty impressive.
Yeah, that is in fact, yeah, pretty impressive. That's good. Japa though, oh man, almost playing that Nook-esque kind of gameplay. Does he know? Oh, this could
the
be
ping,
big. Sound
the ping.
cues. The sound cues, the ping. Oh, there's the gunfight. It does actually get the down and the better of Pinku, or rather, pardon me, not Pinku, JPK. But Pinku, on the other hand, gets the better of Karma. Now, that is the person that was able to go in for a number of really great swings. So this does eliminate that extra factor of the fragging potential, but still a 4v4 is very much workable. Half a round are remaining. It doesn't leave a whole lot of ground for comfort. Pinku, grenades galore, won't be really feeling too comfortable sitting in that only position in the lodging.
Big nade there could enable them to go for that push, and they still have the nano boosts in play, so Japa should not be that concerned. So long as he hits his shots, he should be fine. Pushing up main stairs, he will have spotted that Banshee, sees that things are open, sees that there are avenues onto the site, and gets himself a huge chunk of information. Pinku as well, going to take more chip damage. The Banshee dealt with, but it's Owen to fall. They will clear it out. This toxic canisters from Eraser is going to slow that push from main stairs. Face Cream wants the go, wants the call, wants to be able to drop down into Logi. River hits him with the nano boost, and they need to make the call jumping in. Unfortunately, Eraser has the better of the angle. Japa pushing up top Logi stairs. Knows that there's probably one close by. He's going to swing out, and unfortunately is going to eat the shotgun from Eraser. River needs to go big here for the team, needs to hit some big shots, and he might fall victim to Eraser once again. The pre-fire is good. Does somehow dodge out of the damage from the main bomb site itself. Walk it on in, player on the bed, no! MML almost whiffs it for the team, but Underground are good for more. They will clutch up. That was very nearly disastrous.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, could have been absolutely bad, absolutely deadly. Yeah, look, a little bit of a sweat drops are going to be wiped off by JPK and co, and not as smiling as they were before. Still being able to bring it back. Still though a 1 point differential. I wonder what's happening on the side of Antic, because yeah, whilst they were able to achieve a really nice 3-point buffer, that is no longer a thing. It's only 1 point, and well, by that time, if they do make it a 5-5, one could be starting to, start having concerns as to, well, what is happening in the Antic camp, whether it's just the offense that is so far not particularly working out, whether it's just UG that are performing better, or whether it's a bit of column A, a bit of column B.
Yeah. I'd actually be interested to look at the stats for Clubhouse globally. I think it does tend to lean one more way than the other. I couldn't say for sure what it is currently. I know it was defense. I would have to imagine it's probably still defense, just a little bit, but I would imagine that it's not by a significant margin in the grand scheme of things. But right now, round 10, opportunity for either match point or the equalizer for both these teams currently. At Underground, they look to look to go big here on CCTV.
CCTV could be kind of big as well, yeah. I have to agree with you here, but that roam on the ground floor is going to be absolutely key. Funnily enough, though, I mean, we'll look at the setup that UG are bringing in. Almost feels eerily similar to what Antic would usually prefer to bring out, whereas Antic have been playing the defense in kind of a similar way how would Underground usually play. So a complete swap in the playstyles kind of feels almost weird.
Hexathermic out already, is going to pop one of those garage walls. They know that there is a mute jammer in play, but Owen should quite easily be able to open CCTV wall as well. It's just a matter of time. They are looking to clear out the mute jammer as well, so they can get a nice clean hole, and Owen is already onto it. He's looking. I would imagine we're probably going to see the upside down rappel. No. He's going to go right hand side of the breach. They might look for a tuck plant here. They've got the smokes to do it.
Oh boy.
Oh, this is a rush!
No, this is a rush!
They're going for the rush, and it's straight on in. Karma looking for what he can. Owen on the plant. Raft is dealt with! They've absolutely blown the site away, and the plant is going to be good. They get in, they get out, only losing one. The site is entirely theirs, and Underground have no clue what the hell has just happened. JPK good for one, but MML is not. Down to the 2 versus 2 with 30 seconds remaining. Japa holding the pixel. He's going to be taken out by JPK, but the plant is there for Owen. JPK does not have the health to contest right now, and Owen can just play it smart and safe. The pre-fires are not going to be good. The long arm is not possible. Owen, he takes the kill. Zuve has to go for the defuse. Does he? He shouldn't. No, he's going to get it. Zuve, Owen doesn't know where it is, and Underground equalize.
Owen, I was just about to say that the long arm potential was there. Oh, a disaster it is, but Underground managing to bring it back is huge dub there for them to equalize the scoreline, but it almost worked out there. It almost managed to make it work, but unfortunately with the position that Owen put himself, was in a very scary, very, well, almost crippled position. If Jaipur would have managed to stay alive, that would have been a completely different result, but
Defenders, protect your
just...
bombs from being
I'm just mind blown that, I mean, I didn't realize Jaeger's arms were that long. That has to be one of the longest long arm defuses I've ever seen.
Yeah. And we've seen quite a number of those throughout a number of different leagues. That was just rather unfortunate as to what happened there, but well, very fortunate for Underground they managed to salvage it. Again, off the back of just that one-person clutch in a 1v1 situation. So it, again, feels like it's just, whilst Underground are the ones winning, it's them kind of still playing that kind of game of a catch-up.
Oh my lord, how did we end up here? A 5-2 scoreline quickly devolving now to a 5-5. I mean, that round was so decisively Antics, and to be undone by the long arm defuse, you hate to see it.
Yeah, hate to see it indeed. Unfortunate there for Antic. Underground, though, will be very much stoked because that buffer that we were talking about, that absolute long road ahead of them, has been completely surpassed. Now, Antic wanting to ramp up the play even further, they will want to obviously bring it back into their basket yet again, because this very round will be the one to decide as to who will be going into the match point, who will be the one to at least secure themselves 1 point in the overtime.
I mean, that is just heartbreaking. I mean, you talk about Chef last week missing out on where the diffuser's planted and missing out on the defuse by half a second at most. And now we find ourselves in a position where, I mean, Owen had that dead to rights and he's missed out on the opportunity just because of a long arm defuse. Antic, they want to pull it back. I mean, that's going to be a big road to try and bounce back from that.
Indeed, already breach denial is starting to come about. Yep, there's the first impact grenade. Another one is being introduced here. This time only 2 from River. Tries to just pace himself on the utility. That's 1. MML now in for another one. Another impact about to start coming in. It does connect. No, it doesn't. No, it does. Oh, how many does he still have? Only 2. Okay,
yeah.
so
MML wasted both of his. So Nitro committed to try and deal with it. Owen is going to be tagged heavy there, but there is no more attempts at the impact trick. Pinku is not in a great spot to try and make it happen. 1:10 on the clock, and Face Cream on this block is just ripping the roof above them. Pinku going to be tagged. He's going to find the kill onto Jaipur though. He's good for his 1, and this is looking scarily like it might be Underground to take map point first.
it will be rather frustrating for Antic, given just how close they were to, well, to greatness, to victory. Unfortunately, not their time, not their game to take the dub on. Underground doing absolutely solid work there and keeping themselves very well constructed, very well secured. Swing from Karma could be big if he knows about the presence of a Razor. I don't think there's anyone actually covering. No, there is a crossfire between himself and the Alda as well. This is big, complete fall apart. All down to Karma to make things work. 3v1 with 20 seconds. That's 1 more. Unfortunately, the crossfire does not allow any further progression. Underground, 4 in a row.
4. And map point secured. They might just deny overtime here away from Antic, which would set them solidly top of the table going into week 6. It almost guarantees them the top of the table going into the final week as well, one would imagine, with the play that they're bringing out. Gym Bedroom now, Kasulu. Both teams 1-1 on the site. Again, like we were in the first half. Who takes it here?
Oh, man. I want to say Antic, but given just the string of just unfortunate events and the fact that we've just actually traded the 2-4-2 halves, I'm somewhat leaning towards Underground to close it all out, make it a 7-5 and just call it a day. Would be a rather upsetting, or rather a huge way to upset the scoreline that was looking at the beginning of the second half, but I mean, what a way to pull a comeback.
I mean, look, it's impressive. It is nothing if not impressive to be down 5-2 and now surpassing your opponents to find yourself on that point, one round away from actively denying them overtime. That's truly impressive.
5 seconds remaining.
Indeed it was. Interesting changes coming out from ANZ
To locate a bomb
as they're looking to get a little bit more serious with their utility. Introducing the Flores, introducing an ace plus the buck for face cream. I'm curious how there we go. Karma does end up sticking to Osa. Probably that more or less worked out pretty well for the gamer. So curious how will that really come to fruition. Interestingly enough, not a single person on the actual site, so well, in saying that, that extra expansion by Underground should be able to serve them rather well.
Indeed. Right now, though, I mean, this is what, the first time I think we're seeing a Flores coming into play, ironically enough, and there is no mute on board to try and deny it. Well, that's truly interesting. They clear out Bathroom entirely. Owen will fall, unfortunately. Massive kill there from MML and could be what seals the fate of Antic R6 right now. Face Cream knows that there's one in Logi. This is, I mean, on the knife's edge currently.
Absolutely, yeah. With Owen out of the equation, that's an AK-12 at least out of the equation, which is going to be rather problematic. Japer only later down the line realizing, oh no, that's a shield there in play. Rather unfortunate that the man couldn't find his own kind of solution there. But look, still we're continuing our own adventures here. Face Cream could be possibly in a whole lot of trouble if MML decides to go in for the jump out. Very much looking keen, knows exactly about the presence, and oh, I mean, that won't really do a whole lot, MML. His position, though, has been revealed, so the impact is there to dish out a lot of punishment onto Face Cream. The moment any sort of swings comes about, this could be problematic. No, Face Cream misses actually on his prey. All of a sudden, Underground are in a very dominating position.
Thank you, unfortunately, missing out on the opportunity. The player on Jacuzzi. There's not a heck of a lot of time here, Cthulhu. This is getting deadly. Another impact out onto the shield, but it's MML and Karma trading. And that player deficit still in favour of Underground Esports Club. Someone has to find an opening somewhere. Antic might be moments away from being denied. Currently Zuve in cash, looking to hold things down. Face Cream on the buck, and oh, it's the rotation game. Dangerous spot, but Zuve finds the kill onto Face Cream before he falls. 2 versus 3, 28 seconds. JP, he's in the side. He can't hit his shot to Razor. He's good for the first. River knows to steal himself, but can't with JPK behind. The reverse sweep from 5-2 down 5 rounds in a row.
Impressive way there by Underground to be able to just completely change the momentum, change the swing of things, and yeah, look, rather unfortunate result by the end of it all for them, but what a way to get back into the swing of things. And yeah, look, well played, well done, and yeah, congratulations to Underground.
Look, that was beyond impressive. I mean, 5 rounds in a row. You're down 5-2. You lose the half 4-2. Lose the first round of your defense, and then everything falls into place. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. It makes me wonder how things would have been if we hadn't seen Face Cream TK'd in the second round. I mean, there's so much unknown about that round. If he'd stayed alive on the smoke as well, would it have been a different story? Would they have been a stall out? Which would have then resulted in them pushing onto map point first.
Yeah, look, it's yeah, definitely quite a few kind of talking points that will need to be highlighted later down the line, and certainly, well, curious what could have happened. But look, all things considered, great job at a comeback.
Well, we've got MML joining us from Underground Esports Club for a chat. Look, congratulations, mate. You put yourself first place, but I mean, talk us through it. You're down 5-2. I mean, what are you guys saying at that point to bring yourself 5 rounds in a row?
honestly, we were down bad, and we got a sound bug, and we were going to take attack anyway to just reset the mental. But yeah, the rehost really saved our mental, and we just focused up on playing together, getting refrags, and came out.
Fair enough. Now, well, was Clubhouse going into against Antics, given that their previous performance was a little bit kind of shaky? This was where I believe this is where they fell back in the previous week. This is where you guys managed to pick up a win before. Was this kind of the initial plan to go into Clubhouse, or was it just kind of on the go decision?
I mean, we're pretty good on Clubhouse. We didn't really show up on attack this time, but I think they were just playing really aggro and we weren't ready for it.
Right.
But yeah, we played good on defense, so happy about that.
I mean, look, there was one round in particular. It's CCTV. They bum rush the breach. They get the plant down. I mean, what's going on in chat is the long arm defuse comes out to clutch the round.
Well, Pinku was stuck in garage and he needed help, and 3 of us were downstairs for some reason. But then, they planted, and we just won our gunfights. And Zuby's like, that's how we got into LPL Pro, because that's what happened in the quals.
Right.
Zuby long-armed.
Hey, look, magic sometimes happens twice. But look, MML, congratulations, another big win for you guys. Anyone you'd like to shout out before we let you head off?
Shout out to all the Ballin' boys, and shout out to Dan the Miner and Toos, and shout out to JPK for not going 3-6 again.
Look, congratulations, mate. We look forward to potentially seeing you again next week. But Cthulhu, I mean, look, that is absolutely massive stuff from them. But you know what else is massive? We've got our winner, the Twitter giveaway, of course. And it is going to be, and look, my favourite operator, Blackbeard, because he can't win a fair gunfight. He didn't play back Blackbeard, they didn't win.
Yeah, that's exactly that. Should have picked the Blackbeard, but hey, at least, Antic unfortunately took an L there, but at least on a personal note, Owen can catch at least this sort of dub for himself.
And you want to know what's even better? You can get yourself double the dubs next week. We've got 4,800 credits to give away. So we saw a lot more of you tweeting this week. Make sure we get even more of you tweeting next week, because there is twice the chance that you can walk away with the win. Let's have a look at the leaderboard, though, and see how it closes out in week 5. Right now, it is Underground Esports first, Alton Zelios second, Odium third, Team 7 in 7th. Top 4 at the moment would make for an interesting playoffs if it stayed like this.
Yeah, it would certainly make things rather spicy, I'll have to say that. Rather unfortunate for Onami to keep on that bottom of the leaderboard, but yeah, Underground, a team that we did not expect to excel in the way how they've been performing, but they managed to really show us that, look, you don't discard them at all, you don't discard them in any shape or form, and even in the scoreline like 5-2, they can just bring it back.
Respect where respect is due. You should never come in under-prepped to LPL Pro. That is the truth. But Cthulhu, that does bring us to the end of week 5 here at the Rocket LPL Pro R6 competition next week, though. Back next week, same time, same place, to see just how things go in week 6. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll look forward to seeing you then.
Tango in my sights.
Now it's time for New Belt Nitro Single!